Okay, firstly, I'm happy to announce that the 2022 PMGC Grand Finals will be a major offline event in Indonesia in January. PMGC League will begin in early November, and it will run for 4 weeks to determine the teams heading to Indonesia to battle for the crown as the best PUBG Mobile team in the world. An incredible 48 teams, the best of best teams from each region, qualified through the year. The most to ever in our offline event will join to PMGC League. The top 13 teams will take their place in Grand Finals with 3 direct invites. As well as PMWI, Sony's Xperia will be the official smartphone partner for 2022 PMGC, ensuring all players are able to perform at the highest level on the biggest stage. And that's not all yet. I'm excited to talk to you about a new competition, PUBG Mobile Regional Clash, beginning next month. The PMRC is focusing on pitting different regions against each other, beginning with PMPL Southeast Asia versus PEL. You never want to miss it, so please follow us from September 22nd to 25th. Okay, it's a time to go back to enjoy PMWI. On the circle! Thank you!
The only thing I'm disappointed in that is that he's not doing more martial arts for us, because that was always my favorite part of James Yang and having a chat with us about PUBG Mobile Esports. But fantastic to see as well. We learned about a little bit about PMGC, going to be in Indonesia here in January with the 4 weeks in November, the regional clash as well. Max, I know you had your eye on.
I mean, it's going to be great to see a lot of the Chinese team from PL actually playing versus the SEA teams, right? Got that rivalry happening a lot of the time. So, I mean, normally you see in these international events like 1, 2 teams from PL. Here you're going to have like half of the lobby PL teams. Like, that's going to be pretty insane.
Yeah, we mentioned it before, but I mean, two regions that have excellent teams at the very top. So to see them kind of clash and just make this mega lobby, I think is going to be very exciting.
Well, by the way, if you guys didn't know, remember I taught you all at home about different prizes you can win and different ways you can win. We do have a meme contest currently happening. So you need to check out, Instagram and Facebook stories for fan-made memes. You need to make your own and post them over on your own page, and make sure to tag PUBG Mobile Esports as well. And there will be some winners picked out with some lucky prizes. I'm not going to say exactly what they're going to be, but they're good. You're going to win them. Trust me on that one. And speaking of memes, I mean, Max, you are the meme master. Maxman meme master.
I was a meme.
I was good, yeah. Speaking of memes, Max is a meme. Continue.
Go on.
And what was your question? I went completely
There
off.
was no question.
Oh, okay. It was just like, okay, I'm a meme then. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, memes are good. I want to see them posted on social media. Maybe I'll share them.
I mean, we did have a phenomenal couple of them back in, was it PMGC 2020, of how to beat Bigatron. A1 Esports was a big proponent in how to do that. Maybe we'll have to revive some with the Indonesian. I mean, for here at the event, we have the Indonesian talent, we have the Arabic talent, we have the Turkish talent, so we have some things lined up potentially to do all together for some fun little things.
Pretty much updated version, I would say.
Well, pretty much it's going to be all of us with Max in the center of a circle, and all of us are going to make fun of him and be mean to him in different languages. Yeah.
Point and laugh, guys. Okay, no, don't do that, please. I'm not interested.
Won't. Jason will.
Oh,
yeah.
He'll do that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We have to do a crawdad dance in the middle of the circle.
Could be an emote in the game in the future. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
there's a lot of potential for it. What's up, Cloris? You're looking at me like you don't know what's happening.
I'm enjoying myself.
You're enjoying yourself? Okay, well, let's enjoy ourselves by talking about maybe some other teams. Any other guys you want to talk about here that we didn't touch on, either at the top of the show or in that last match?
I would have to talk about here, I would say Wildcats, right? They had some good intention when it comes to their rotation. As we know, they dropped like a Sanhok item military position around the map. And it was like a tough circle afterwards. You had to go for the wide rotation up north. I think that there was some good intention behind it. The execution was maybe a little bit all over the place. And I think that for them dealing for the first time with this type of lobby, they have to adapt a little bit more. But the idea was there, in my opinion.
For me, I'm of the opinion that Military Island is a bit of a dead drop. For Stalwart, they've got the absolute world class to be able to negate quite a bit of that. For Wildcats, I'm a little bit concerned if that's going to pay dividends later going into this tournament. We'll see based on playing paths, based on drops as a whole, and see how that's going to go out throughout the tournament. But I do have my concerns there.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously there's another region we haven't really touched on, unfortunately, because typically we've seen in the past couple of years they can't really compete when it comes to these global events. Back-to-back, a team from North America, they have been able to win PMPL back-to-back, which is a great sign. But the unfortunate, or not unfortunate part is, but the fact is they need to show what they can do. I would love to see them do what they can, or show what they can do, because I'm American and I would love to see them do well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been proven that they can dominate locally. Like, when it comes to their region, they can do just so well. So I'm hoping we can see some good representation from back-to-back, but it's going to take some time to get there.
All right, well, speaking of getting there, we're going to be getting to the second match of the day here momentarily. We're going to be heading over to Miramar this time, which is going to be quite interesting again. A bigger map, so we have obviously more teams. Maybe that's going to facilitate them a little bit more. But I know while we were watching the last match, we were quite surprised by how many teams were still left alive, how late into the match we actually got into over on Erangel. But speaking of getting over to, let's head on over to John on and Blank once again to kick off our second match.
Thank you so much, Jason. We are ready and raring to go over on Miramar. It's going to get a little bit hotter, maybe matching the temperatures here in Riyadh. It's been pretty hot for a couple of Brits like us, eh, Blank? It's even the walk from the shuttle from the hotel to the event here is absolutely boiling.
It is pretty intense, I'm not going to lie. I've stepped into the world's oven. I'm sure some people really enjoy it. I actually did enjoy it. I enjoy it for the first 10 minutes each time because it's the driest heat I've ever had. So it just feels like having a very hot aircon going on just everywhere. That's actually just wind and the sun. Natural. That's just how things work. But some of these teams have been finding things very natural in games so far. Vampire looks like this is just second nature to them here in the PMWI, just taking names and taking those elimination points home for themselves. Here on Miramar, though, just looking at a couple of the drops so far, El Pozo as well as Picado are absolutely stacked in terms of teams that will be dropping here. You've got Regan's, Box Gaming, and Aton Esports all dropping in Picado together. El Pozo got Damwon, Donuts, and Nigma Galaxy. So one of these teams is going to come out on top in those specific locations. We'll just have to find out who.
El Pozo a little bit late on this drop path at the moment, as we are. We've got a secret sneak peek at the plane path here, Blank. Don't tell anyone, all right? Keep it on the down low. But El Pozo will be a little bit later on that progression for these players. Maybe could affect the number of teams that do opt to go there fully, but then again, maybe not. We were talking a lot about how teams want to hold on to what they've got. Certainly going to make a difference if they make it or not. But we're going to go into Miramar in game number 2. The plane takes to the skies over the desert once more.
So immediately heading up here, Los Leones can pick up a lot of these teams in this current playing path that we will be seeing on your screens very, very shortly. And I feel like I'm telling the future right now. That's because I absolutely am. So a couple of teams could drop it towards Los Leones. There's not too many teams that I've seen so far that have been dropping in Los Leones exclusively, but that can hold at least 3, which will alleviate some of the problems, especially with Miramar being such a large map anyway.
We head into the game. You can see now the plane path that we've been seeing from the southeast side up to La Cobreria. Seeing where teams drop out. And of course, the first time this is going to be played at the top level with 18 teams. Keeping an eye on those drops like a hawk.
Absolutely. And with 6 of these teams dropping exclusively in Picado and El Pozo, honestly, everywhere else that teams want to go to should be absolutely free. So just looking at this one in particular, Impala for Wildcats, this is a place that they love to go. They're already dropping out in that location already. So this seems fantastic. You know, honestly, I've seen a fair few matches from Wildcats as well where playing path has been absolutely diabolical for them going to Impala, yet they still go to Impala. They love it there. So this is a great start for them here on Miramar. And perhaps, you know, maybe they can shore up some of those issues that maybe they had over on Erangel, where things just really did not go their way versus Stalwart.
Puerto Paraíso currently being held by VGS as they dropped out really very early. Down 1, Kia headed further southwest. I imagine they're going to be moving over towards BGMI on that southwestern edge. But Box Gaming and Team Seoul look at a clash in Picado. Only 2 teams at the moment in very close proximity in this location. Neither team yet taking a knock. But look at that very forward position from one of the players from Box. I didn't quite catch the name there. But they are absolutely in the lion's den amongst Seoul, Bensu, with players all around. Omega on that outskirt has the back fall out for Bensu, has a vehicle, sorry, not a vehicle, a weapon as well in hand. Do they know that there's a player here from Seoul?
Picado can hold 2 of these teams, but you do have to be constantly on a swivel here, John, to make sure that no one's creeping up behind you. Box Gaming, very certain on positions that they want to hold around this map. Trisway with the M249, already with a very heavy-hitting weapon, which could be very dangerous should it come to close quarters with these teams inside these compounds. But it would look like Regans as well as Aton Esports have dipped from this location. You can see Regans on our screen, at least on the map feed. You got DD as well as one other player in Los Leones alongside with Aton Esports, actually. So this is very, very interesting. Regans have north and Atons have south side of Los Leones. So this works out exactly what I was talking about earlier, that Los Leones is massively free. And it looks like Regans and Aton happy to not go Picado, not go to that usual position, and instead take a safer spot here towards Los Leones.
Really just a bit of a standoff for Team Seoul and Box Gaming right now in Picado. They have extricated themselves from one another, although Bensu's still pretty close by. A couple of shots have been landed as well between the 2 teams. But, of course, it's not just the teams that are going to be getting stuff done here. Of course, you have the opportunity to get the gun skin and outfit for the PMWI from the 4th to the 13th of this month. 50% off PMWI packs, and you can get a set straight away with that, as well as 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And if you can't take advantage of that, next little sale period we do have is from 14th to the 15th of September. So that's 14th this month through to 15th of September. That's 16% of PMWI packs, and you get 6 chances to draw those PMWI treasure chests. So make sure you are getting on that early to reap the rewards. But if not, there's still chances ahead of you.
And of course, you can complete daily missions to earn points. And once enough points are accumulated, you tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
If you want to participate in the event solo or team with other players, that's absolutely fine as well. But teaming up, that could give you an extra little chance and make the reward to get a little easier. So make sure you tell all your friends about it and get them on board.
Goodness me, it looks like Bensu and... Actually,
They're mates.
I don't think so. I do not think that they will wait 1 second after seeing one another to try and make it all the worse for them. To stand off. Seoul has backup, though. If actually just waiting
those are
for a team,
mates.
those are his mates, right? And so if he pushes in whilst he has that backup, you can trade it off, right? That's what you're really looking for. It's the value of a team. You saw Hector there on the sidelines as well with a nice vantage point to get an off angle. Watch for those players pushing around that flank side. We hop on board with Enigma Galaxy, though, as they are vibing on around in El Pozo, the only team to actually drop up there.
Yeah, so this is the one that we were curious about. USG, for our donuts, were very, very hell-bent on taking Rozhok on Erangel here, but they have given up El Pozo. You know, they're happy to give it to another team. You know, Enigma Galaxy, yeah, they took 2 points off in the last game, ruined their Erangel, so they'll throw them a coin just this one time. Instead, heading up towards El Azahar on that northeastern side, but no one else is here, so this is a very viable drop for them. Looking at Down 1, who are also another El Pozo team, they're down towards Valdemar, so they'll take that up on the western edge. They will have to contend with back-to-back, who do love to go for a southern rotation, but it's TJB coming in from Chumacera to ruin their day.
Yeah, they take one of the players from back-to-back down. Early scouting, losing a player, not ideal on Miramar. But sadly, it's the risk you run. Team Seoul looking to put the pressure onto Box. This is a fight. The initiative is being taken by Team Seoul here, Blank. They are choosing this fight. They are making this one happen. Box Gaming looked like they were content to sit back a little bit. maybe it's a strategy. Maybe it's aggression through passiveness, right? Allow them to move to you. Allow them to make those missteps.
Well, way back in day, it was always very hard to break the box formation. That was always the very, very difficult thing to get through. And right now, Box are happy to just sit in this building. Now, back to back, just quickly going back to that last fight there between TJB as well as back to back. You know, they actually really struggled with this in the finals of spring 2022. Is that on Erangel particularly, they would send one scout out and lose that scout very, very early on, dropping them down to 3 players. Already, this is becoming a problem here on Miramar. A lot of these other teams keeping it very, very tight, but Bensu finds one of the players trying to slip through the cracks, but that's not going to happen. The box formation is tight.
It is absolutely on the ball. Really, really nice stuff there. Omega a little bit too far forwards. No backup really from Team Seoul on that angle, and a nice opening. And look, Box Gaming move forwards. They re-establish that perimeter. They reclaim this territory. There is a sideswipe potential for Team Seoul if they get that spot, but there's a backstab. Morpher here, over the hill, and it's just Frenzy for the time being, but he has reinforcements coming from the north. Break looking to put this fight into gear now as Team Seoul are on the back foot. Around the side, the reload needs to come through. A lot of damage to Bensu, but it's not enough to get the knock. Break, however, finds Goblin. Akshat now flagging for Team Seoul. 3 players alive for Box as they've lost 1.
It was actually Regans from the western side that took the knock onto Box. And this was the team that originally liked to play Picardo on that southern edge. And they've just taken a little bit of time in Los Leones, sweep back up here, and ready to reclaim Picardo for their own, knowing that this was going to be a hotly contested spot. Most likely 2 teams locked together. And now they're going to take advantage of this. Very good from Regans.
Seoul really suffering under this pressure from Box Gaming. 3 elimination points already found. Losing 1, you feel like you're going to take that for now. I feel like that might lay claim to Picardo for them in the future Miramars that we're going to see. If they're lucky, we'll see if Team Seoul want to try and vie for that again. But as you say, RSG, Morph, both moving in from both sides of Picardo.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a squeeze going on here, but it does seem like China is really trying to take a nasty little split. You can see it on your screen right now, where it's just coming down from the hills in Picardo. 52 Esports have taken a knock there. They're right on the western side. I believe that is to Nigma Galaxy. So Nigma Galaxy trying to pick up some more points. Ralph, though, right on the eastern side, he's looking for a compound for the rest of the team to stay, but they're busy with 52 Esports right now.
Looks like 52 Esports are just going to try and keep moving down south. You can see them all mounted up in those vehicles on that western edge. Monte Nuevo, the central focal point of this next circle, just a little bit further out east. It's good for back-to-back right now, who have a lot of that sort of area, despite them losing a player early. If TJB, with GK First moving in there now, can take position there as well on the eastern side, TJB will also be in a phenomenally strong spot.
So back-to-back able to, regroup just a little bit here in there. And it's so unfortunate because we really are dropping into their original drop spot right now in Monte Nuevo. I don't think it was necessary to send one down south, but this is something they've done before. I think with 18-team lobby, it's not so wise anymore taking those ridge lines because there's going to be a lot of teams there. It's not as safe to be dangling one of your players down on the south edge of the map. VGS trying to make their way up behind teams like Day1 from Valdemar. They are just neck and neck here with TJB. You can see them on the screen. Day1 Kia trying to find a little place to call home.
Day1 Kia moving up from the south side. Adriera being positioned on now. A lot of scouts, as you were talking about, getting picked off, right? It seems like so far we've seen 3 one-player losses on Box Gaming, to be fair. That was in a compound fight. So 2 scouts really being picked off right now. 52 and back-to-back, both losing one of those players. We'll see if that comes back to bite them. Both of them a little bit on that western side. I mean, you've got 52 certainly a lot heavier in there, but they're moving in on the northwestern end of Monte Nuevo. Day1
just about lives here for Falcons, but will be knocked by missile from USG. Makes it happen, looks for some more, but it is an off angle coming through from Falcons. Here on the home turf, trying to keep the rest of their team alive.
Needs to choose who to display the flank to there to get the heal off, but Missile stays alive for now. Yusuf Trying to get those shots in. Mikun does get behind cover, takes the spray, but doesn't land more than just the one, just a tickle, and needs to heal up as well.
Yeah, Omikun just has to walk away from that one. Falcon's able to send them back just a little bit. They're still both on this northeastern edge. 4 rivals moving down as a 2-2 split between El Pozo as well as Crater Field. So they're trying to get a lot of information gathered nice and early on. Vampire Esports coming down from Puerto Paraíso. They're heading towards Minas del Valle. Honestly, they're going to be moving up through Chumacera in a second, but they've opted to stay outside of the circle and in the blue to make sure no one catches them on this long rotate.
On your screens right now. Holding the ridge on a line. Trying to keep their position safe. South side, it's the Vampires. They've yet to push on in, yet to start the frag fest that we saw from them last game. The question is it repeatable or is it an Erangel special?
Is it an Erangel special? That is the real question here. John, Nigma Galaxy still central at the moment.
They're right in the middle there, just a little bit further north, and in fact the circle does shift down a little bit further south, and they will be looking to move with that circle. Right in the middle of it, TJB. They have absolutely slap bang center circle right now. Damwon Kia, who have been waiting in the wings for their position for a while now, are going to be looking to push on in and maybe try and take control of that central area as well.
Yeah, they're looking to pick up that central area at the moment, back-to-back, moving down at the moment. Nigma Galaxy taking a little while to head into this location, but we are really getting a little bit tough with all these teams crunching up towards the middle. Wildcats, though, coming from Impala on the eastern side, moving through Chumacera at the moment. Seoul with just one player remaining, Hector. Box still yet to break away from Picardo at the moment. It's a bit weird, but it is Stalwart actually moving down from Power Grid, just behind Keyed Esports.
I mean, maybe, you know, Box Gaming, they're playing with 3 now. They're just going to try and take things a little bit slower, play that edge, potentially. I mean, it's a difficult position, right? You're playing with 3 now. You've lost that ability to really scout as effectively. With more players, more rotations becoming dangerous, you're not really willing to take those chances, potentially. But they do actually strike out. They move down southwest from their old position, leaving Hector in the dust, and they take that eastern flank of the circle.
Not a bad position for them to be in at the moment for Box Gaming. Obviously down to just 3 players, but 3 elimination points. You'll take that any day of the week, especially here on Miramar. Now, what really can't happen here for a lot of these teams, you know, is Vampire Esports. They know that they're being headhunted right now. If they start to get ahead once again in this match, things become extremely difficult for a lot of these other teams to start catching up if they continue that momentum going forward. Right now, though, they are really squeezed tight on that southern edge, just around Chumacera, with one other team in Wildcats coming in just behind them. Schweppes from Vampire Esports, though, will have the bead on Wildcats, where the rest of the team in 3 are just ahead of them towards the north, so they should get info on this nice and early.
Yeah, on a 3-1 split, or maybe even a 1-2-1 split from Vampire Esports. Just taking a look at where they are sat on the map. They are yet to fully regroup. They did play a lot of that Northern Rossock at some points. They played in that 2-2 split, so they are used to playing a little bit more of that split play style. Certainly that would be the evidence from the last game anyway, and it certainly worked.
Another look at the map here. It's just getting real struggle bus. And, you know, I did not expect this whatsoever, but we still have 18 teams. Vampire Esports, though, Schweppes in the back line, stays alive, but it's Wildcats who are taking shots, and this is the info that Schweppes is able to provide the rest of the team. Next circle, pops in, heads down south, so Vampire Esports still very happy. Looks though, does hit the shots onto Schweppes, will take him down, and that is Vampire Esports down to 3, but there's still more shots. Along the way, it's Fluketh once again.
Really solid backup there. The off angle's perfectly found. Heals needing to come through from the Wildcats, and they are yet again suppressed on this ridgeline. Really difficult, but Vampire Esports looking to potentially be down to 3. They've lost their Schweppes on the outside there, and they will be at 3. They had 4 in that previous game, but the circle moves to them.
I mean, if they get another circle shift, though, they are in a real safe spot. Like, look how hard it is to approach these buildings. The only issue they might fall into is without those 4 players, it does become a little harder to pick up on all these angles. Again, though, Aton Esports is their difficulty going forward, and it looks like Vampire Esports know that this is a position on the map that they need to watch out for. Really good stuff from Flukuth. His shots have been on point. He's been looking all over the map at the moment, really keeping it clean here for Vampire Esports.
I mean, that was one of their characteristics of the last game, right? Snappy engagements, I think Matt said on the desk. Making those clean engagements. That's exactly what you want to be looking for. Even better on Miramar.
Damonkia still struggling to just find anywhere that's super concrete for them. It's on the edge of this hill at the moment. 52 Esports coming into play here. Enigma Galaxy, one of their players, I can believe it was Hamodi, did go down here. They're just trying to get down through the circle on that northern side.
It looks like 3 of them are down. They're losing players left and right. Enigma Galaxy suffering heavily. They had not the best of starts, losing 2 players early in the last game. The first team to go down, in fact. I think it's just Freak alive for them now. At the back as well. Not really a chance to get these reses. Going down first twice in a row. Not the way you want to start your tournament. Certainly would be a disaster. Team Seoul, though, seem to be survivors. They were on 1 for the longest time in that first game. And out they go. Yet again, first team eliminated.
A miserable start here for Enigma Galaxy. Really not fun. But you know what, John? There's still Sanhok ahead for them. And honestly, that is the map where they prevail the most.
They know how to survive. They know how to get it done. But there's more frags on the hillsides as Donuts USG looking to move up past 4 rivals, and only Jumper can stand in their way now. 52 as well in the back line. Proving to be difficult to deal with as Jumper spotted away. That was it. I don't even know who that was, but
Virtual Gaming Squad took him down there. Good stuff.
Morph drop a nade right on top of one of their own teammates, but they take an enemy down in the process. I'm not sure if that's worth it at this late stage.
Damonkia, though, you see, they have just been keeping an eye out all over the place, and this ties right back into what the desk was saying at the beginning of the day. They are a survivalist team. They're going to try and see how far they can get, but 52 Esports still trying to lay claim around this area.
I agree. An applause ringing out there. Not too sure what that was for, but
52 Esports.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, to be fair. Absolutely. Damwon here, they lose Forrest on the hillside. You're not going to be able to get him back up. Daku spots Sung as well. A lot of Damwon Kia struggling to survive. Fabian and Junie, though. A formidable duo, to be sure. Fabian takes half HP, but excellent backup coming through to be able to shut that one down. Vaz taken out there. Junie, he still has the DBS.
Yeah, it's Korean meta at the moment. All of them use it over in the Korean PMPL. It's pretty insane, but they make it work massively.
TJB take hold of a compound, eliminating back-to-back from that stronghold. They've had a central position for quite a while now, and they will have to move a little bit further south. At the moment, I'm looking at RSG with that central, with pretty much one of the few compounds in this next circle plane.
This is very unfortunate for the team from America, just struggling just a little bit here in the PMWI. Stalwart, though, looking for another consistent game here. That's what I want to see from Stalwart, and we could get some more hope into this team. Action, though, coming over the top and just descends upon VGS. Like we've seen nothing before. Goodness me, swoops in. Talons are strong and sharp. There's nothing you can do against them.
And they should be able to get everyone back up as well. So a full force Stalwart, definitely something to worry about. Pain. Run down there after the knock. Down one Kia move up to Daku. Pops out the window, spots Fabian. Needs to be worried about the teammates from the off angle though, but finds the cover from the shack. Through the windows, the bullets pour in, and it's going to be a tall order to get anything done, but Fabian goes down. In the meantime, 52 are eliminated, however. That will slow down one Kia on that northwest flank.
Yeah, TJB have been harassing this team the entire time, and they might just have to leave Fabian behind. Lin moves up. Tends to be the first player to move up a lot of the times for TJB. Sometimes it goes wrong, sometimes it goes marvelously. It's hard to say here with Lin. He's really kind of shaky as a player in terms of being extremely good, or sometimes just not so great.
Volatility, that's really a characteristic of his gameplay. Sung and Junie, 2 players for Damwon Kia. Wildcats under fire as well from Falcons. They're trading 1-for-1 right now on the knocks. X-Ray definitely resable here. And so is Yusuf.
It's a very awkward playing field, but Juni pulls out the DPS. Lin goes down, but it's TJB. They bring it back nicely there, though I would have been very, very scared at the cracking sound that DBS makes as he comes around the corner. And that's why the Koreans take it, just for those singular moments where you can surprise a team coming through.
Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough to see Day1 Kia safe. TJB Esports EU able to put that pressure down, get that res on as well, get themselves back to 4 and move down south further on, but Falcons from the sides, only Powerful getting knocked, and they are fragging out. The Wildcats cannot stand up to the pressure, but they're now under fire from TJB on the north side. Doesn't matter though, they are absolutely cool, calm, collected. The Wildcats taking shots every which way as well with their last player, X-Ray.
This is a real chance here for the Saudi Arabian team. They're close to the circle as well, but it's STE who's ahead of them. That's the difficulty. Atan Esports, though, keep taking casualties on this southern edge. Falcon Esports really do need to start thinking about making a move, but they've got to figure out where the other teams are. Flukov somehow keeps moving down that hill with the quick feet in action, but it's not enough. Ravenclaw.
Whoa. Able to do the job, able to get it done against Donuts USG. The off angle still dangerous. This should be completely broadside for Bruno right now, but I don't think he's taking that position. I don't think he's pushing up. He knows that his position's known. Maybe just not going to peek it. Not going to take that chance of Vampire up to 2. Falcons look for the crash into the compound. Stalwart are here. RSG are here as well. As Aiton do lose that last player, RSG suffering now under pressure from Stalwart.
This is terrible timing here for STE to try and claim this building that Regans are currently in. Falcon, they just come in at just the right time. Fantastic stuff for them. Laying in the utility. Regans already finds a nade over the top, and never alone.
Falcons.
It's on to Pika. The util is coming in clutch.
The nades coming through from Falcons as well for the third party. They're going to be able to take hold of this compound if they keep going. Phenomenal performance on this crash from them, but TJB have oversight. It's difficult to handle now. It's difficult to stymie that pressure. But they will try and lock down those angles. Only action in the compound.
This is what I said for Saudi Arabia. They had to move right now into those buildings, and they took that call, and they made that call in the moment very, very quickly, dropped the utility in, and STE and Regans completely blindsided by the absolute decimation that was laid upon them by the Molotovs, the grenades. Even I saw smoke get thrown in there as well.
Look at that. The replay there from Ravenclaw as well. Phenomenal. A duo for Vampire Esports. 7 elimination points, looking to take out the Wildcats as well. It's only X-Ray. TJB have an angle, potentially onto Ravenclaw, but he's just storming forwards. Shut down as the nades go long, but Fluketh in the backline, stung in the back as Tingskur able to handle the Vampires. Van Helsing rides.
Good stuff here from TJB. Keep it very, very steady on this hillside. Wait for the players to reveal themselves before they do lock in the action. And now it's them looking across the way at Falcon. It all depends on this next circle. Falcon would love for it to end on them, but they have to move. This is horrific. But Stalwart, though, action still in it. He's ready and waiting in the wings. And I don't know if Falcon know if he's here or not.
6 elimination points, 3rd place guaranteed. Stalwart, again, with a consistently good result. That's what we're looking for from this team. That's what we want to see, and strong elimination points to boot. Fantastic stuff. But right now, as you said, it's between TJB and the home team here in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh, Falcons.
Well, this is going to be really difficult, though, because TJB, you know, they can't lose any of these players they've sent to the edge side, but this is a very strong split that they're currently employing. It's going to be difficult for any sight lines not to be open to these guys when Falcons do start to move out of this building. So really, really tough stuff. Action just needs to hold his ground, stand his ground here.
Oh, I think he spotted a little shuffle there from Powerful. GK first, trying to suppress those angles. There's the first angle. TJB have such good vantage points, like you were saying.
I know what Falcons are trying to do here. They're trying to get rid of Action, but he is just throwing him for a loop, takes so much damage, and finally goes down to Never Alone. So they do secure that second place. Great stuff from Falcon. Now they need to fight back.
No answer towards GK first. Never Alone taking heavy tick damage from the blue, down to 3. Damar gets res, so Yusuf and Damar, a duo in the forefront. But TJB storming down this hillside, nading through the window, putting everything under pressure, putting Falcons to the test, and second place will be a good finish. They wanted first, but it was not to be. TJB moving through the building, through the window, and it is TJB with game number 2 on Miramar.
Xiao coming in as a new player here as well, stamping his mark at the end of that game and delivering themselves a nice chicken dinner beautifully through the post there. Well done to that team from TJB, representing Europe, which is happy days for us, right?
Nice.
But honestly, TJB, fantastic stuff. Really good split at the end there just to eliminate any angles that Falcons might have taken. But again, big, massive props to Saudi Arabia from Falcons in those last moments to be like, we just have to hammer everything home, taking down Action here in these final moments because we want that second place. We deserve that second place.
I mean, the Falcons weren't able to claim it. They did really quite well. TJB, they got that circle shift. I think circle, what was it, 3 or so, where they were right in the middle. And they then had to move down to from that northwestern side. So happy days.
Yeah, massively so. I think TJB, they were on that western edge for a long time, but slowly made their way in. It was a little bit rough, but they kept absolutely everyone just floundering for answers to what TJB was doing.
Well, that is going to be it for game number 2. We're going to head to a short break, and we'll head back over to the desk.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
All right, well, TJB taking a win here for Western Europe, and a win that Kalaris himself predicted. He saw the zone go their way, and he's like, TJB win these. And they did. And it was good.
Said that as if anyway, we have ourselves, yes, them getting themselves a win. It was brilliant stuff to actually see them actually take this. But admittedly, it's a home circle for them, effectively, to be able to control these. That having that Chumasera split gives them a great opportunity to find themselves those nice high ground spots to be able to stage their plays from, and they do traditionally, when we watch them in these circles, they win them here, Max.
When it comes to terrain knowledge in that position, like no one beats TJB, right? And also they saw that third party happening. They saw Falcons get involved into the fight. Like this is prime opportunity to start gatekeeping teams now. Like if we take the 2 perfect angles, no one's going to be able to escape it. And if the circle comes our way, it's GG. And in that case, it was.
All right, let's take a look at our STC match rankings, get an idea of how many points they got, as well as the other teams out there. And 27 points.
Big points again. Huh?
It's good. But then you look at the first match and like, I'm not as good as Vampire with their 39. But I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Claris, you did say Vampire should be on 52 points now.
52 points. It's insane.
Ridiculous.
I really kind of didn't expect that, considering that they had a bit of a rougher game this one, but still 7 eliminations coming their way when they're kind of being a bit scrappy, fighting in from kind of that southwest side to fight towards these final circles. So very impressive for Vampire Esports to put themselves, what is effectively now, so far ahead after just 2 games.
Yeah, and doing that in like a 3-day tournament, once again, like that is very impressive. Like that could make a huge difference at the final ranking. So we'll see if they can try and keep up the pace a little bit. I think they struggled mostly because they had a 2-2 split and it took a little bit too long to get back together. They got caught off, but at least the intention was there. They still got 7 eliminations very, very early on in that game. So yeah, first place by far, and now it's the team to beat currently.
Well, we are seeing, Team Falcons, some consistency, doing well on match 1, now on match 2. The local team here from Saudi Arabia, Stalwart Esports as well, yet again able to get there with 16 points. Even Vampire down in 5th, and then you look at Donuts in 8th. Like, we're seeing, I mean, yeah, it's 2 matches. I understand the statistics work, Sean. Don't worry, don't come over here and yell at me. But we are seeing some consistency start to show.
But the divide in terms of the top-heavy stack here of the top 5 compared to anything 6th and down is huge. Anybody 6th and lower here in this lobby, 6th to 18th, really didn't get much to their name here. Only single digits, under 5 points as a whole. It really shows that everybody in that top 5 had great vantage points to be able to blast at anything that came along from them. Chumacera, especially kind of that northwest side, is kind of notorious for some of these high ground spots that people will stake claim to and then be able to effectively turrets from on the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, and there was still in this game a lot of things that we did not expect that were actually happening. I think that's one point you brought up, Kalaris, while we were watching that game, is that RSG did not go for like one of their main jobs they go, which I think is Southern Picardo. So teams are still like trying to bring different things to the table, and I think we can expect more adaptation as we go on.
Yeah, adaptation is definitely the word for it. I think what we'll see from RSG is a slight change up. I mean, they got them for 5 points, and they're kind of in that kind of mishmash of kind of everybody getting that 5 points. But they can get themselves even more, I think is fair to say, when it comes to... I mean, normally they drop in terms of like a full split south of Picardo, but they actually went for a 1 person there and 3 people up towards La Bendita, kind of rivaling where Morph was. They can go back to that South Picardo split and I think have much more success in their next Miramar games.
That's what VOD Review is going to help out, right? They're going to see that opportunity like, okay, we're going to go right for that spot, and if it works out for them, they could find some chicken dinners over on Miramar.
We are seeing, look at this Fluke, highest damage, grenade eliminations as well. Remember, we do have, was it $5,000 for the player with the most grenade eliminations throughout the event?
I don't remember the exact amount, but it is a decent amount of money. I can tell you that much.
I'm going to be honest, at this point, it might all go to Vampires. Every single penny of it. In terms, if you get 52 points.
now they're all going to be playing Orm for the next one to get the Eagle Eye.
It's ridiculous to see them get that many points in just 2 games to start.
Well, if you guys have actually missed the match, luckily for you, we have some highlights brought to you by Sony here, as we're going to take a quick little recap of what all went down. And, of course, TJB is going to start things off here, and why wouldn't it, considering they took home the chicken dinner?
Yeah. I mean, it's home territory, right? You do not mess with the Chumacera location. If you do, TJB, they're going to be lurking in the shadows, ready to strike at any opportunity coming their way. So you got to be careful about it. And I think that teams might be looking back on this game and saying, like, okay, Chumacera, let's be a little bit careful around that.
And I think it's cool as well because normally when we see TGB actually get themselves wins around Chumacera, it's kind of like the circle came to them and they really didn't have many people rivaling their positions, and then they kind of win. But in this game, that wasn't really the case. There were a few breaches onto their position that they had to defend from, and then once they realized that they have command over the circle, as you were mentioning towards the end, they pincered Falcons. They gave them no room, no opportunity to be able to get out of here, and Zhao's position on the overlook here, perfect to shut them down.
Yeah, I don't like using the word impossible, but I think it's...
Overlook, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's down. Is the overlook like this?
No, that's a plateau.
So is this the... I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why
Max.
I
I don't know why I'm
either.
doing this. Go ahead.
I don't know what you're trying to But I don't like using the word impossible, but I think in this case, it is almost impossible for Falcons to get out of that situation. It's just how good the lockdown from TJB actually was. So, and it's great. Like, Western Europe is not a team that, not a region that we usually know as great when it comes to international tournaments. They get a win now.
Yeah.
I'm hyped to see if they can continue.
Because it's not just Xiao's position that is actually oppressive from there. It's also the fact that they basically have a 1-2-1 split across that circle to be able to just have so many angles of oppressive fire onto where Falcons is. So, yeah, very difficult for Falcons to do anything from that spot.
I think that's why you saw them kind of tanking the blue as well, realizing it's probably not realistic for us to fight our way out of this. Maybe just try to deny some points, because again, it could come down in the very end. We've seen how many PMPLs now, how many events where like 1 or 2 points would have gotten you double the prize pool, or like 10, 20, 50K more bucks in your pocket, and it could come down to that yet again.
Just half a million, you know. It's easy money. It's like a day. It's day rate for Colaris.
Hey, that's my joke.
Okay, I have to take it at some point.
I
like-
appreciate that you
mean
both
to
think
Max.
I'm extremely wealthy. That's fine. Thank you.
It begins.
If you actually don't realize, in the talent room, the green room, while we're watching the matches, Colaris just sitting there talking about financial investments and trying to actually get us to invest our money in many different ways.
I'm just trying to help you live your life. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, but I don't think my investment in Pokemon cards is going to help me later in life.
I disagree. I will respectfully disagree.
All right. Well, any other teams you want to mention here? I know we actually wanted to take a look at like a head-to-head here between two teams. Not sure if that's ready to go just yet. But we haven't seen overalls, but we do know, obviously, Vampires in currently first place. And I was even talking to the Indonesian talent, and they're like, well, sorry, talking to Junior, I will say, because the other talent disagreed with him quite heavily, where he's like, Vampire, that's not a big deal. That's not that good of a game. The other teams will do better in match 5 or 6. And I'm like, bro, 5 or 6? There's only 18 matches to play in the entire event. Match 5 or 6 isn't going to carry you through.
Was he defending Vampires, or was he the one that...
He was saying like, it's not that big of a deal. Other teams will do better.
All right,
like,
well, he's wrong. That's fine. you can be wrong. That's okay.
Yeah, I think if they keep being wrong, we'll take their studio. I think that's.
Well, if they keep being wrong, then I think Maximus can move over to the Indonesian talent, because when it comes to predictions, that's typically where you would go.
I think that's going to work out eventually. But you're talking about other teams that we'd like to mention, right? I think one team that comes in my mind, at least, that I thought would be a lot more prepared than this is Nigma Galaxy. They had 2 games in a row now where they go out like super early. I think they got 0 points game 1 and 2 points in this second game. I think they need to get himself back on track a little bit. It's only the first map of each. Like, we had 1 Erangel, 1 Miramar. They can still adapt right on the next iteration of these maps, but they are struggling a little bit here.
But I feel like from our assessment of Nigma Galaxy when we watch them, I feel like they are a team of averages. And I feel like 2 games, small sample size, we can quite easily see them play out across an 18-gamer and find themselves in a bit of a better position. So, yeah, I think they've got things to fix for these 2 games, but I won't spell doom for them. I think they're all right.
We're not even halfway done with the first day. Like, it's okay. There's still time to adapt and bring some changes.
Yeah, no, impossible. Impossible. Max doesn't hardly say
You can't
it.
use that word. You can't, you can't do
It's
it.
Max's favorite word, I heard. Impossible, yeah.
I don't think so.
No,
I think I just said the opposite like 5 minutes ago, but okay, it's fine.
I thought Max's favorite word was stop it.
Stop it. When I'm talking to you, yes, that's in my vocabulary all the time.
Well, let's actually jump into a quick head-to-head here between our 2 top-performing teams in the last match. Obviously, got to take a closer look at TJB here and just kind of the overalls. And again, Falcons, the position they were in, some really good damage being done. And we obviously, if you guys haven't watched any of the other titles that we've had here in G8, this team, well, not this team in particular, this organization actually in another title surprised the world with how well they've done. And I know Max has been talking very highly of Team Falcons and how they could do it yet again here in PMWI for PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, and in particular, when you're looking at this tournament, right, I think there's like a stigma around invited teams, right? They're not going to perform as well.
Right. Like, why are they there? They don't deserve to be here.
But they won like PMPL Arabia for the full season, right? They are currently the reigning champions of Arabia, so there is that background to them.
They didn't just win it. They were almost 100 points ahead of second place. I feel like they should have been here, and then in the next stage, and then in the next stage. That they could have invited them to the end of time, considering the kind of performance that they were able to put up in their region as a whole.
Yeah.
So,
and they
ridiculous.
Also dethrone Nigma Galaxy as well, who was third place in PMGC, who was dominating Arabia, the team with the most chicken dinners out of any other PMPL. Like, this is actually a really good sign, but also it makes me kind of sad, because sad and happy, I guess, if I think about it. Sad that like teams that are so consistent, you look at like Bigatron, I mean, maybe Nigma Galaxy now, teams who generally perform really well, just have these like ups and downs throughout the year. But then also I'm kind of happy because you get to see these new teams come out of nowhere, and maybe Team Falcons, maybe we'll see them in PMGC, maybe they could pull off an upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's very surprising too, because when you compare Nigma Galaxy and Falcons, like Nigma Galaxy have that international experience, right, in PMGC. They've already played that.
Yeah.
And they actually did really well, right? They got, what, 3rd place, I believe it was, last year. So they couldn't technically perform at this level, and Falcons just came in as a huge surprise already and are performing so well. So the question is, can they keep that rhythm going? If so, there's a chance that they can compete, except for Vampire, because they got like 50-something points, yeah.
Yeah, they were ultra consistent in their regional.
Yeah.
It's fair to say. I think with like, we even saw back-to-back first places coming in from them when it came to kind of their approach to the game as a whole. And again, I think that they're cutting in this game in particular to just then hold off the Regnums as well as STE's kind of battle that was going on. It's the perfect opportunistic play to say, okay, there are these two big powerhouse teams clashing head-to-head, but this is a stranglehold on your ability to continue in the game. You might be able to defeat each other, but you're not going to get any further in this game because we've set up a barrier for you to do anything else.
Okay, well, this is a nice little talk about Team Falcons as well here. I want to learn a little bit more about them, though, in a series we like to call This or That.
M7. It's faster. I have a skin, so I have to use it. The UMP, less recoil, and I think it's faster. Erangel. The roads are not bumpy, and your car gets stuck in Miramar, so Erangel is way better. Pochinki, yeah. Movie theater. But I like cats more. In Saudi, it's winter. Water rotation. Buggy. A 7.62. Joker is a lot cooler. M24. I can get a lot of knocks, but with the car, like I can't do. Like, I don't know how to shoot the shot. Psychological issue with the gun.
Well, great to hear some This or That from them. It's great to learn a little bit more, like cats versus dogs. Max, cat or dog?
Dog, 100%. I'm not even thinking about it, and I think you're the same.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats. They're rubbish.
Especially for you, then.
Well, you know what? Maybe not a veterinarian, but for hospitals, Dr. Soliman Habib, obviously a big shout out to him as well for putting on this event. We're helping support this event as well here for all of us who are watching, and maybe if you're playing as well, should be pretty happy about it coming through. And actually, I heard a story, not to like promote them even more. There's actually a free hospital like right near this event where you can literally just walk in if you need anything, X-ray in 15 minutes, get bandages, anything like that, really quickly. So it's actually really, really cool. I'm really happy to hear
their
that.
thumbs, you know, on the phone, they can like, yeah, you can go.
I wasn't talking about players, but I just meant in general, but really cool.
Gaming
Free
is
healthcare.
intense, man, okay?
We're looking after the players, Jason, all right? That's our priority.
That's true. That is true. Players are priority number one when it comes to any esport. But gentlemen, we're going to be heading into our next map like soon-ish, right? That's a big one. You know what map it is, right?
It's going to be Sanhok.
It's going to be Sanhok. And this is where things are going to be very interesting. If it wasn't chaotic enough when it came to 16 teams, well, we now have 18 teams going to be on this map. And Max, I know you've been talking about boot camp a lot when it comes to this.
Well, boot camp, you got 3 teams drop in there. Like, it's going to be absolutely hell. And we know as a fact that a lot of the teams are very stubborn. Like, they are not going to give that location away. And also the heal-off. Nigma Galaxy TJB, they're also going to commit to it potentially. That's going to be also a very interesting interaction.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've as studying has gone on, yes, there are some people that are notorious for that heal off. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of a change for some of these teams in terms of who is actually doing the healing themselves. But as you say, in terms of drops, boot camp's a hot topic. Trifecta split has been a hot topic when we've been looking at some of these teams. Will be conflicts here and there, and as well as trying to transition from location to location, be it the Northwest Island, the Southwest Island, and the mainland. That's why the Trifecta split was really cool. We saw Day1 Kia trying to employ it in their region, but then they got kind of pushed off. I'm just excited to see if we get the conflicts that I'm expecting to see happen here at the beginning of the game.
I hope it is. I hope it's going to happen, to be honest. But at the same time, you got the Galaxy, you got TJB, you've got heal-offs. We saw it happen in Western Europe quite a few times. If I'm not mistaken, Lin healed like 3,000 healing himself alone.
We are going to see some 3,000 heals coming out. I'm going to go, the highest one will be 3.1k for this game. That's a prediction.
No.
Actually,
no.
Wait.
Impossible.
No, actually, that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler, Jason.
Read the script. We agreed to not doing that.
Sorry, I apologize.
I can't with this guy.
I can't with either of you. No, I'm
can't with us, yeah.
But I mean, like, the thing is, I know we knocked on it a little bit when it came to PMPL Western Europe with TJB constantly doing that, but it's a viable strategy on a map with $2 million on the line. If you can sit in the blue, heal off, then why not?
I mean, there's an interesting factor you got to add to the mix, right? Is that if they do both commit to that Same split to get all the meds right, whichever team eliminates the other, you pick up all of that. Like, you could see like 4,000 maybe.
This is your meds? This is my meds.
My meds now.
That's right, that's right. And it becomes even more challenging when you consider it's 18 teams on Sanhok. This is not a big battleground. Yeah. So limitation in drops, I want to see Camp Bravo as well as that split going down. We'll see if that fight continues on.
Yeah, we do have Sanhok coming up next, but once again, want to remind you guys at home what's all going to be going down as we do have the Vibe and Drive event currently happening. During the event, you can log into the game and complete the corresponding missions with your friends if you have them. If you don't, Max will help you out. And you can get your hands on a free permanent legendary set. So make sure you guys don't miss it. Make sure you guys are checking out as much as possible there. You can see the dates. It runs through the 24th, starting on the 11th. But it's time now to head into Sanhok here onto the Moist map where there's going to be a lot of healing, a lot of blood, and a lot of eliminations for these teams. John Allen and Blink, take it away.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, as I was saying, the 3K plus healing that Kilaris has foretold. He read that script, and we're going to be looking out for it. 18 teams on Sanhok. Chaos, chaos, chaos. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we're looking to see. Max was excited about the boot camp drops. I'm excited to see who decides to go elsewhere, who decides to take the L on their original drop spot and go around the way.
Yeah, so actually, for Enigma Galaxy, you'll find this quite interesting.
Okay.
This is a little tidbit for you.
I'm prepared.
For their actual Spring 2022 finals, their Sanhok was their most successful map out of all of them.
Oh.
They had a third, then they had a second, and then they had a first. So it just got better throughout the tournament for them. And that's over all Sanhoks that they played. So that's kind of insane for Enigma Galaxy as a team. So this is where they can start to make back some of their points. Unfortunately, though, like I said earlier, Enigma Galaxy has had a bit of a miserable start, to be honest with you. And I'm not sure how I would be feeling in the situation, especially at a live event like this. I don't think I'd be feeling too good. But Sanhok, now it's time to bring those points back and see if Enigma Galaxy can do it. Again, though, it is that boot camp drop, which is going to be ridiculous. It's Regan's, it's Box Gaming, it's Stalwart, all potentially in one place, battling out for boot camp.
That lobster is going to be real hectic in just moments' time in the middle of it. You must know, you know.
I know the lobster. It's going to be drenched in players in a second. It's going to be a big problem for boot camp. Alternatively, everyone could leave boot camp alone, and it's not worth it here in the 18-team lobby, especially with there being so little landmass here on Sanhok in particular.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tricky to find those places, to find that area, to call your own. And already, teams starting to drop out. I'm looking at the Wildcats heading north. They play a hot-in split normally on the Sanhok drops. We saw that in those practice games earlier. Looks like they're not going to change that. And let's look at the boot camp teams. Down one passing over it right now. Down one Kia and Stalwarts potentially looking to land. I think Down one Kia are going to head further north given their speed. Back-to-back drop a little bit short. Actually, Aton go to Painan right in the middle of that map. One team in boot camp. Only Stalwart right in the middle of it. Seoul spread out in the hills to the east.
I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't challenge Stalwart out for boot camp either. I think they pretty much just win that every single time. I think you have to out-macro Stalwart just because they are so strong in an individual fight. TJB and Enigma Galaxy down towards Sami, though. This is quite interesting. Enigma Galaxy usually do a Sami split anyway, so it's TJB kind of encroaching on the territory. Now, Enigma Galaxy, the problem for them is they'd love all of Sami to themselves to pick up as many meds as possible, but they might be getting into a fight early that they don't want to take, and TJB, once again, from Miramar, causing problems for Enigma Galaxy.
It's really not fun. But I'll tell you what would be fun. If you complete daily missions to earn points for the PMWI Watch Together, once you get enough points accumulated, tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
Well, that's GZ going down for Regans, but for that event, you can participate solo or as a team. And remember, playing solo is absolutely okay, but teaming up could get you some more rewards.
Certainly would make it easier, but we're going to be getting into this game. Losing a player early for RSG Sanhok could be disastrous. For Regan's Gaming, GZ, as you said, Blank, goes down, right? Sanhok, the most important map to keep all 4 alive in terms of needing that firepower on your feet, right? You need to have it all up. You need to have that ready in your arsenal, but Lightning goes down as well. Team Seoul for India. Finding 2 so far. Goblin does get knocked in response. It's only him in that little outpost there, but there's 2 players for Regan's Gaming. They're going to be slow just a little bit, but I don't think Goblin is long for this world. Will be taken down. Regan's Gaming. Carried.
Regan's obviously abandoning that boot camp drop. Have to go somewhere else.
They will have to try and find something, make something of their position. In the meantime, we see TJB and Enigma Galaxy split apart just a little bit. Neither of those teams have lost players just yet, so they didn't really want that fight. I mean, TJB, if I'm not mistaken, also kind of tried to play the southwest side, right, in the European tournaments, and try to play from that area. So that hot drop maybe could have been foreseen just a little bit. But Enigma Galaxy, for the first time, don't lose a player on that initial engagement.
My God.
Back to back. How?
Oh, that is shameful.
You'd think with a DBS, one of those would have landed.
Especially when you're laid down with the DBS on the drop of a player. You hear that, like 4 shots went out there, and he still did not go down.
There was 6, wasn't there?
6 shots. So maybe he was just shooting his toes off. That wasn't quite enough to take him down. He's now running on his basically ankles. He's still alive though, so it's fine.
Just ankle bones, just like, I mean, it's probably quite soft earth in Sanhok, right?
He has
it's quite
speed
humid
now, right?
Yeah, he's got traction on the hills.
Yeah, he's just flying forward. 4 rivals moving up towards USG's position. Missile did go down for Donuts, trying to get up the stairs. Just about makes it, though, but that Molotov should seal the deal, but goes short, unfortunate.
I think it just hit the eaves there and bounced down. The missile's not going to get rezzed here for USG Donuts. 4 rivals should be able to pick up that point lickety-split. And there it is. The nade seals it. Their fate will be run from here. 4 players, 1 elimination for 4 rivals.
Back-to-back, trying to play down towards the west side of Quarry with Aton Esports as well. So Aton giving up Camp Bravo to USG. USG so far just kind of had their drop spots to themselves. You know, they couldn't take El Pozo, but they took El Azhar to themselves. Now taking Camp Bravo. Yes, 52 Esports are coming in from Mongnai, but it's not a big deal for them though. USG have got real pick of the litter so far on all these maps.
I was just looking at some of the other drop spots because we focused a little bit on the engagements that we saw on screen, but I was looking at the Wildcats. I'm not sure if they dropped initially there, but they didn't actually opt to put a player on the eastern shoreline, right? They didn't opt to have that presence or keep that presence there, certainly. I'm not sure if they had that originally, but they have regrouped to that western shoreline near Hatin on the northwestern island. So they don't really have that strength or confidence in crossing potentially. They don't really know about the ground around Paradise Resort, which is currently being vacated by VGS.
Yeah, VGS taking this position for most of their Sanhoks already. Paradise Resort is their home. Hatin being, you know, the general spot that we would see Wildcats dropping in anyway on Sanhok. Vampire Esports, though, taking shots onto Fluketh here from TJB, who've really started to heat up here in this tournament.
I mean, certainly a good game last time around. Taking that chicken dinner. And they're pushing in. Vampire Esports, though, not a team to push over. This team has been absolutely on fire so far, as they were talking about on the desk, topping the tables right now. Top dogs. Or cats, if you prefer.
I do prefer, actually. Vampire Esports, so they did get that really nice ruin split at the beginning of the game, and now they're really trying to get out of this difficult situation. They've had so much time to set up here in Ruins, and TJB completely taken them by surprise on the coast.
Excellent crossfire established there by TJB. 2 players going down. There is no chance you get them back up. Ravenclaw and Fluketh now left. 2 players alive. The Vampire Esports maybe looking for a nade, some damage over Tingsker, but Xiao rezzed back up for TJB.
Ravenclaw would love to find at least 1 more knock here. Nade over the top, but as time goes down, but it's Fluketh who has been really strong throughout all these games. Finds Lin. And that is a little bit of pressure taken off from him. He was right in the midst of all these players from Vampire Esports. So far, Stoned as well as Schweppes have yet to be eliminated. There is still chance for recovery here for Vampire Esports, with Virtual Gaming Squad on the northern side just coming down from Camp Alpha. This could be a third party.
But there is absolutely a clock ticking. GK First lands a beautiful shot to Fluketh on the ridgeline. GK First has been pivotal in this fight. He was the person who was part of the crossfire in those initial 2 knocks on the buggy players, and he's just taken down the 3rd member from Vampire Esports. This is GK First at his best.
It is very unlikely that Vampire Esports walk away with this one from any more than just one player. Now Ravenclaw is on the run, and TJB, they are hunting down this final player quickly behind him. Very good stuff so far.
One player alive, yeah. You just got to get out of that. Try and keep yourself alive. This is where the heal strat could come in. Right, for Vampire Esports, they could potentially try and just send Ravenclaw up to get as many first aids as you can. You're playing on that southwest side near Tambang. You can try and just loot up these compounds, grab as many meds as possible. Four boosters total, 2 first aids. You've got 10 bandages to see you through as well. Ravenclaw could potentially use that time. It's still early circles. Get loot, get first aids, and play for a survival game.
Yeah, as a single player, there is a lot you can do as a single player. So by no means is this over. Realistically, I think the person that won out the most between this engagement is Nigma Galaxy. The fact that TJB disengaged from Sami means that Nigma Galaxy had time with this new circle to head down towards Bantai, potentially up to Camp Charlie, and keep looting up some more of those meds. Ralph used to be the big healer for the team, but more recently it's been Lord doing a lot of it, so we will see who exactly decides to go for that one. But this next circle favoring Falcons once again, so another time to really put up those points, put up those numbers for Falcons themselves. But we will see what happens with Morph GGG still trying to make it happen here in this tournament.
A particularly alliterative Quarry Camp, Cave, Kampong finish is potentially on the cards here. As the southeast circle shifts in, more from the south coast like you were mentioning there, Blank. 52. Potentially getting spotted out by Donuts USG here. It's over towards the north side of Lakawi, on the north end of the circle. 52 trying to move down the coast.
This is a horrific spot to play from 52 Esports. I mean, I've dropped here before, and if you get some team or some players on this ridgeline looking down towards you, it is very hard to leave, even with just the 3 players that Donuts has.
2 versus 4 that they're on this ridgeline with, but it's not going to matter. Immediate knocks coming through, and 52 are torn apart, decimated. 5.2 now, Blank.
They just completely break down. It is very, very unfortunate. You're right, these guys got divided up with a couple of quick slashes coming through from the Japanese team, and now it's Pain running away. And you can tell that this team is absolutely in pain. They try and just get away from this kerfuffle. And honestly, that's what happens. And Donuts USG must have been trailing this team for a long, long time. And once you get on that downslope, you know, there's no cover whatsoever. Great angle taken by Omikun to really open up that engagement, especially having the confidence to do that 3v4 as well. They knew that they had the angles to make it happen. And those are the kind of points that you just need in this tournament to keep bumping up your leaderboard.
The circle's not going to hurt too much just now. So teams like Wildcats, who are very far north at the moment, leaving a player even as far back as Tap Mock, just passing Paradise Resort now that we saw Virtual Gaming Squad leave earlier. They are going to be okay for the time being. And they will have had plenty of time to loot up those meds, play for potentially that one out there. TJB as well, in the meantime, all the way out near Narkam, sorry. And Sami still has the last player from Vampire Esports.
And this is the difference between Nigma Galaxy, who dominates on a map like Sanhok, and TJB, who tries to go for a heal strat here on Sanhok. They're out in the blue so long. Nigma Galaxy tries to push in as far as they can into these circles before they start going for the heal strat. They already took the boat down from Bantai, headed over towards dockside. Now they're going to move up, cause as much chaos as possible in these final circles with potentially 3 or 4 members. Then drop one guy behind. He's not had to use any medical supplies all this time until he goes into blue, and that's what gives them the edge on any of these other healing teams. But they have such confidence, such good ideas of how all the other teams rotate to stay out of the way for as long as possible to make that happen.
Day1 Kia have taken a couple of knocks on that north side with 52 trying to move past. The next circle just about to shift on in.
All right, vampires.
That's okay. I mean, what can you do? What can you do?
All right, vampires.
Okay, all right. Okay. A lot of this is, well, it's not, obviously it's not just Sanhok stats. This is the first Sanhok we played so far this tournament. They are going to be looking pretty healthy, especially after that first game. What was it, 26 limbs, 24 limbs?
24,
in the first game coming through. That's really just going to pump those stats. It's going to be a while before we don't see a vampire up there.
Yeah, it's very, very crazy stuff so far coming through from Vampire. Honestly, it's just a case of, you raise from your coffin in the morning, easy peasy, back in the coffin at night. They're just slamming the lid on the first day already with that massive performance in game 1. So really, really good stuff. Now, Circle centers up, which is very, very nice here for Nigma Galaxy. They can really just keep it easy on this southern edge.
Wildcats spot Day1 Kia and further hamper their progression down south. Junie looks for the retribution onto X-Ray. Sung's taken a lot of damage in the meantime, but X-Ray escapes unscathed there. A long spread out progression line for Wildcats, but there's the answer. Junie taken a knee there to Boran from the Wildcats. Starting to move forwards, wants to play aggressive. 2 players knocked for Day1 Kia now. Sung and Forrest standing.
Day1 just do not look confident. Honestly, we're so used to their playstyle of heading center very early and taking control of that. And it almost feels like they're afraid because of this 18-team lobby to actually go for something like that. But that's where they excel. They're really good at controlling those final circles, but they never have the opportunity so far. And I think this is something that might need to change over the next 3 games or potentially even coming into tomorrow. But will it be too late by then? We'll just have to wait and see. With Vampire Esports going out very early here, though, it does give a chance to some of these other teams at the top.
Forrest trying to heal up. It looked like Day1 Kia actually got all 4 of themselves back up. Okay, fair enough. They were allowed to res. The pressure not quite there from the Wildcats, but they will be known. They will know that this rotation is coming through. If there's a boat in Lakawi, you might even want to take that and sail down south. But even then, you got Nigma Galaxy. The absolute machines here on Sanhok to deal with if you want to try and take that route.
Yeah, 2 points in 16th place to 18 points in 5th place with Box Esports. I mean, you can easily jump up a lot here. Freak stays behind at the moment, looking to pick up some more meds. Not sure if he'll regroup with the team. Honestly, they're able to, it's interchangeable, which their healer is at the end. It just very much, I was talking to Kalaris about this actually, and we were having the discussion. He was saying, it's very interchangeable who your healers are, particularly because, it's very different setups. You don't want to switch over weapon types that someone's more comfortable with. So you just give the guy who's got the most medical supplies, because it's easy to just splurge out a ton of first aid kits on the floor than it is to switch out entire loadouts.
The next circle just about to pop. It's really moving down towards Kampong, towards docks. See where the next one does fall. And it's fairly central, northwest, just to the east side of Quarry. Team Seoul, with their backs to Quarry, have a pretty solid position to hold, but they're most likely going to have to leave it in the next phase. Looking at Box Gaming as well, can they set up that compound? Can they set up the box fort?
That is the real question here at the moment. Already a 375 elimination meter-wise for Stalwart there. Really, really good stuff. Stalwart's going to struggle. but they are quite far at the top of the leaderboard at the moment. I believe they're in 3rd place, just behind TJB at the moment. And yeah, there haven't been like massive standout games for them, but they're consistently there in 1st, 2nd place, 3rd place. They're just making it happen, and this is the consistency you want to see from a championship team. So 32 points just behind TJB and 33 at the moment, but they have to make it through the swampy marshes of Quarry.
Vivo keeps suffering heavily at the hands of back-to-back. We're doing a lot of work now. 2 players down and out for Vivo Key, the Brazilian representatives. Nades answering though, as Diego not having any of it. Polo goes down to the nade. A lot of damage was put in on that push as well. J-Way spotted. More nades being popped over now by Diego, suppressing these angles. Look at the low health bars for back-to-back. Diego crawls on forwards, and it is bombardment. Nade after nade. Fire now burning away at the heels of back-to-back. Can they regroup here? That nade a little bit long, but it finds nearly getting the knock. Diego tears them apart, gets everything done, and back-to-back with 2. Take care of business.
Diego could not have made that look any easier. Dropped the smoke and then just through that, sent the bullets whistling, including the grenades, and back-to-back have just had back-to-back bad games here in the PMWI. And USA just really want to step this up at the moment. We know that back-to-back can be good. They have stood tall in their region before.
Certainly look at us stand tall, and if you want to be competing with the best of them, you need to complete those daily missions, I'll tell you that, to earn points. Once enough points are accumulated, you can tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
You can participate in that event solo, or you can team up with other players. That's absolutely fine. You get some more rewards if you team up anyway. You've got extra chances there. And for 2022 PMWI Guns getting an outfit, there is a sale period on currently from the 4th of August through to the 13th, and that is 50% off PMWI packs, and you get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And after that, you do miss that window, the 14th of August until the 15th of September, 16% off PMWI packs, and you get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests. We're back into the game though, as Stalwart coming up against Team Seoul, who did, as I say, have their backs to the quarry. And are going to be looking to try and hold them off for the time being. A lot of damage sent, 1 res found, Omega spotted in the sideline. Stalwart still have all 4 there, still have them all available. Omega stands up and gets rebuffed immediately. Hector eliminated, swept aside. Can Stalwart stay alive? They will have to try and survive just that little bit longer.
Unbelievable stuff, great stuff coming through from them, and you can celebrate too with the regions and your team region as well. So the top 3 teams for a region will have the chance to win a prize, and it's a maximum of 1 award per user, and that's through from the 4th of August through to the 13th of August this month.
And if you're watching as well, you're contributing to the potential peak concurrent watch viewers of this stream. If we reach 100 million live watching, then everyone could get items in the 2022 PMWI Lucky Crate with a maximum of 1 award per user.
Please visit the in-game 2022 PMWI Watch Together event every day from the 11th of August for more information.
You can find that all out there. Box holding on the north side against Stalwart, who are still recovering from that fight and may not be able to do so. However, they might have done the work they needed to. Consistency, as we said, always about Stalwart is the name of the game. Keep those points nice and high, keep them tumbling over. A lot of eliminations coming through. Vampire finally taken down, a peg. TJB with 1 player left coming off the back of the chicken dinner. Not ideal, but it's Box Gaming and Morph with all 4 players alive.
Stalwart still going strong with 2 though, which is very, very good, but this is a very good opportunity for Box Gaming. Saudi Arabia's Team Falcons, they only have 2 players. 1 player is down. There's potential to get them back up again, but they have been in the circle a long, long time. Look at this though, John. Enigma Galaxy out, 0 points.
Not good. Far from ideal. Taking a look around for healers out in the zone. At the moment, I see, as you say, Damwon Kia, right? Fabian healing, northeastern side. Maybe trying to just stay alive for as long as possible, and it might work. 8 teams remain, and so many of those have 2 or 1 player remaining. I think it's 6 of those teams. 4 of those teams have 1 player, 2 of those teams have 2.
Honestly, not all these teams have got many points. I think that, you know, Vivo Keyed have got 8 eliminations so far, but realistically, we can say that's just from Diego's unbelievable performance, the masterclass he set upon us with the smoke play. Incredible stuff. Action, though, still on the ground. Looking for Box here. Does stand up. Doesn't quite take him down, but will look for more.
Gets the knock on the sidelines around the tree trunk. Action still in the fight, still alive, but for how much longer? Finally spotted, finally handled by Bensu around the edge, but there's backup. Potentially slowing down things for Box Gaming, and Pika's going to have to heal. 13 first aids, down to 12 now. That looks like they're going to heal out in the zone for Stalwart.
He's going out here.
No stims.
Big struggle for him. Like you say, no stims is very difficult. Zay moves up for Morph, and they have been having a bad time. Coming into this game with 0 points, right at the bottom of the leaderboard. Morph GGG, though, looking to make something happen. They have 4 players alive, and that really does spell a victory here on Sanhok, especially when the rest of the teams are down 3, 2, 1, 1.
Look at that. You can see the stims that currently on board for the last player from Stalwart are going to be there, so a little bit of time there. Damar also looking to heal out, but this is the last first aid kit for Team Falcons. It looks like a 5th place finish, unless someone goes down first, unless someone gets spotted. Diego eliminated out there. Still 1 player left for Vivo Key, but Box Gaming trying to roll down this hill against Morph. With 3 eliminations, they've been fairly quiet so far on that tally. But they're going to have to try and fight off against Box descending. Some nice angles. Bensu spotted, handled. Another knock on the back lines. Looks like this is going to be Morph all the way.
Oh
as they
my
spot
God.
yet another, and they are going to be able to take control of this zone. It's only the players out of sight that will be proving to be problematic in terms of finishing this game out. Cielo for Vivo Keyed and Pika for Stalwart Esports.
Morph will take those 6 eliminations and a chicken dinner any day of the week. Pika tries to jump into the blue, but won't quite make it in time as he falls. And Vivo
Hang on a minute.
will take
What
the
Hello?
hell?
Wait a minute. Oh, finally spotted. It looked a little bit dangerous
down.
there. But 3 of them go down. In the end, the last player stands up, and Morph take control. They take the chicken dinner.
What just happened? I'm not, like, honestly, that just does not happen. I was not prepared for it. Well done, Vivo Key. That came out of nowhere for that team, but Morph will take 20 points, which should send them pretty far up the leaderboard from 18th place. But that was a win that they desperately needed. I think if any team wanted it, it was 18th place, and that'll put them in good stead for the future. The rest of the teams, though, you know, is still Stalwart, putting up those consistent points throughout the entirety of this tournament so far. No flashy wins, but those can still come later on.
And good news for the teams trying to chase down the vampires, right?
Yeah.
They did not have the greatest performance in this game. They didn't have the sort of performance that we've come to expect from them in these first 2 games. I mean, sure, right? It's only 2 games that we've seen from them, but that first game was so spectacular. I'm sure everyone's still thinking about it. This one, not so much. Sanhok, maybe not their strong suit.
No, not at all. I mean, I think that my biggest sadness was the fact that Enigma Galaxy goes out with 0 points. This was meant to be your map, guys. And honestly, it just does not come to fruition here. There is a fair few teams that are starting to really solidify their place towards the top. Obviously, we have 2 extra days. Tune in for them. They're going to be very, very exciting regardless. But that is where things really do start to take root. It's where you have those consistent matches. And I think that keeping yourself in range to the top side is very, very important. And Box and Stalwart are currently doing that.
Absolutely. We'll be looking for more of that action, more progression, more solidarity from the rest of the teams. We're going to go to a short break. Back to the desk after.
مع التحديث الجديد لستي سي بلاي تجربة جديدة للكل. لو جوك دايم تحديات نافس وانضم للبطولات، استكشف الشات والتايم لاين وتسوق من متجر التطبيق. الليدر بورد على تفاعلك بالتطبيق، والجوائز الأسبوعية والشهرية على نظام النقاط تنتظرك. ستي سي بلاي، مهما كان جوك هذا محلك.
I don't think anyone was as happy as Indonesian talent here in Saudi Arabia as we heard them screaming, seeing Morph take home the victory over on Sanhok. But you know what? They got the victory. They finally got themselves off the bottom of the table. I believe they had 0 points going into that match, if I'm not mistaken, and able to get themselves through a little bit more. Really quickly, though, as we do want to talk about STC, as we have to thank them here for obviously sponsoring the event, but also sponsoring our match standings. Let's just dive straight into that one and see how many points all the teams did get for themselves. And Max, I know you're also going to be happy because look at place number 2.
Place. Oh, I'm happy it was place number 2 and place number 3. Like both of them, I'm feeling really happy about that. But View Akita has been relatively consistent when it comes to securing those points. Same for Star Wars. But Morph, really the main thing, Kalash, to allow them to get this win is keeping the options open in the early game and making really good decisions based around the circle right and getting that position very early on.
Yeah, I like their split across Camp Charlie as well as the other 2 locations they have south of that and north of that to just act as anchor points for them to transition into the next stages. Obviously, they regrouped on Rocky that you kind of identified whilst that was going on. It's a great spot because it's just south of Cave. You don't have to worry about anybody south of you because there's water there. And west and east, you've got a nice high ground position to be able to scout from. So already you're giving yourself a great launching point into the next stages of this game when it can be kind of difficult to get scouting information on Sanhok. So this gave them a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And also they were able, by doing so, having that position where Rocky was, right, to gatekeep teams that were trying to potentially cross that bridge. It didn't happen in that scenario, but if it did, they were prepared for it. So good stuff. Then I'm looking at the rankings. One team that I think this is the first time we see them on this first page here, or on the only page we look at, is actually 4Rivals, right? They've been going out very early in both first games. So like we're actually seeing a little bit more step up from the Malaysian side. So good to see.
Well, I am looking through this list here, and I know, Claris, you brought this up in the last match. We are seeing, I believe it's Claris, maybe Max Man. I'm always seeming to be really bad with giving credit to people when they say good things.
You know?
If it's a good point, it's me.
Okay. Max Man, you pointed this out extremely well in the last game. There's a big divide here between like 4th and 5th place when it comes to points, right? We're seeing 13 down to 7. That's, almost half the points allotted right there. And we are starting to see this quite consistently that like the top 5, maybe top 6 teams are just getting a huge portion of the total points in a lobby.
Yeah, I think it's because if you get a really good position in these circles, you got like 2 extra teams technically that have a chance to come your way. So like a good position can be rewarded so much more in terms of eliminations alone. And in this case, you saw that with Vampire in particular. Like they had a good spot and they really made it work for them. So I think teams that can play around those spots like are going to be heavily rewarded.
Okay, let's take a look at our round report here really quickly and see who stood out across the board. And Diego, my man, 5 eliminations, most amount of damage, 2 grenade elims as well is fantastic to see. But we have seen, if I'm not mistaken, Stalwart now at least 2 matches in a row be the longest limb. Thinking back to that prize pool, Eagle Eye.
I mean, he is looking pretty good, Diego, right now. Like, normally Dora is looking for things like he finds you, Diego. Like, he will find you right away. So he's been roaming around the map and really... Like, okay. You get it? It took some time to get it.
Yeah, I was like, Dora. I don't remember there being a player named Dora.
As you were saying with Eagle Eye, longest limb for a top. The fact that he already, before this, had the longest limb at 395 meters and now has Yeah, another one on the bot. I mean, it's Sanhok, so it's not going to really compete with the Erangel or Miramar eliminations and stuff like that, but he's constantly showing that he's great at range, even on Sanhok, a map that is renowned for the close quarters battles that you see ensue. Hence, we keep hearing DBSs everywhere. I'm so happy we keep hearing DBSs everywhere, by the way.
Oh, I remember from every PMPL. Every time we saw it come out. But to be fair for Vivo, and to talk about them here in particular about Keed, is that this is like their first LAN, first international event as well. And they do get themselves a second place finish here on Sanhok. And that has to be like a nice sigh of relief for them, for their fans as well. Take some pressure off of them so they can maybe now flourish further on into our later matches.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at all of the Western regions, I think you have two regions that really stand out a lot from like the rest. And that is going to be, you know, you've got the Turkish side and also you have Brazil/Latam that are kind of like together in some way. And the thing that they lacked was that international experience, playing in international events like that. But I think that when you're looking at the team and how they play, they are willing to be aggressive. They're not willing to give away spots for free. I think that type of mentality, if it works right, can work on this stage. And I think that so far they have been rewarded to some extent. And intrigued to see if that can keep on going as the event goes on.
Taking a look at our Sony highlights here, we're starting things off with Omega for Team Seoul, and again, we haven't really been able to talk too much about them, and it's kind of unfortunate thinking back to PMGC where we had Godlike playing, and they only had one good match, which is the very last match of the entire event where they got a chicken dinner. But to be honest, it looked like Nova just kind of gave it to them, to be fair.
At least in this situation as well, though, going up against RSG, you know, seeing Seoul getting a few eliminations here and there, it's nice against them. To look at the flip side of that battle, I just think RSG is having a bit of a harder time adapting to this lobby because they have the most extreme shift in playstyle and lobby size, etc. In format, yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Coming into this tournament. Obviously in China, 15-team lobbies. You've got yourself extra elimination points early on, which can play nicely to their playstyle. Now it's very different here for them. Not a great start for them. They need to adapt faster than we're seeing them at the moment.
Especially when like PL is happening like right before this event and right after it's going to continue, right? So you don't. They need to adapt specifically for this event in such a narrow window of time, and then go back to their old playstyle. Like it is very complicated to deal with.
It's a big change.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big change, but at least for them, right, thinking ahead towards maybe PMGC, this is their first little chance to dip their toes into the water of what global PUBG Mobile is about. And we're obviously going to find out when we get to PMGC if they do qualify, first of all. But to be honest, only Nova out of the Chinese teams out of PEL has been able to really impress us. I mean, we did see 4 Angry Men, to be fair, but they didn't really... Now, 4 Mini Men's never team. 4 Angry Men.
4 Angry Men.
But they didn't really make it count where it mattered in the finals.
I think Nova does a good job of adapting over a long-form tournament in internationals. Every time we've seen kind of Nova... Well, the majority of times we've seen Nova on internationals, you get long-form, a few weeks here and there. Sometimes they have a bit of a harder time. Yeah, sometimes they have that little vacation, you know, doing what they can, but then later on they come out blasting after accumulating as much information as possible. You can't do that here. It's not going to be possible. You're going to have to go back, just have 2 nights worth of review from day to day. That's not long. They need to be very quick to adapt.
And if I'm not mistaken, there wasn't a ton of scrims as well to like learn about what your opponents can do here going into this event. But you know what? We haven't been able to take a look at this all day, but luckily we're going to have the chance now. Let's actually dive into our overall standings to see where all of our teams currently do sit. Vampire, I'm expecting to be first place, but not by much.
Yeah, I mean, that gap is closing, and mainly because you're looking at Stalwart. They've been, like, around top 3 every single game, consistently up there. Still not able to convert that chicken dinner. I think it's bound to happen eventually.
So are they going to end in 7th then?
Hopefully not. I don't want to jinx on the 7th position again, but Stalwart are still clearly in race, and they're heating up to the lobby here.
It's a huge reason why we have been looking at this team as one of the big favorites to win it, right? 30 placement points over 3 games where they've not been able to get themselves a chicken dinner is extremely, extremely impressive here already. And we know that they have the fragging capabilities to be able to push in those eliminations as well. Yes, Vampire started off with a big one, but now they just got 1 point off the back of this after losing out an early fight against a previous chicken dinner winner. So, yeah, my eyes are still on Stalwart. And actually, all things considered as well, with no actual chicken dinner yet, Box Gaming, I feel like as the tournament's going to go on, if they can hold down some positions, I think they'll be able to convert some big points too.
Well, I mean, that's the hope, right, coming in from coming in is that they don't have a lot of limbs, and that kind of worries me. I know we talk a lot about that sweet marriage of limbs to placements.
Which is actually surprising when you think about it. The Stalwart are in second with like twice as many placement points than eliminations, knowing that this tournament with 18 teams per lobby would be a lot more elimination like focused, right? So it is impressive that they've been able to make it work out. Though heading on over to the second page, we see some teams that have been a little bit topsy-turvy here. And 4Rivals were able to catch up a little bit. I mean, all of these teams, right, it's only 3 games. One good game, you're on the first page. Anyone can still make it.
Yeah, 10 elims for 4Rivals. This is a slight outlier here compared to the rest in some of this page as it does stand. But again, I think you've still... In PUBG Mobile, you've got to be hyper-aware of both scenarios. You need those placement points, you need those elims, and some teams ain't getting much.
Like Nigma?
We got 52 esports coming from Pakistan. They didn't get a single chicken dinner, actually, to get here today.
We've seen Nigma Galaxy, though, have rough times in the past and then bounce back. So, again, not too worried just yet, but again, short form tournament, sometimes it's very different to the long form.
Exactly, like in a PMPL, like you have one bad day, it's like, oh, it's fine, you got 18 show days in total. Like, look in here, that's 1/3 of your potential points, like down the drain instantly. You can't afford to have this day continue. We need to see Nigma Galaxy, like, I would say, bounce back right now.
Yeah.
What about a virtual gaming squad? I mean, we don't really know what to expect out of them. And of course, the region for Africa, but we got to see a couple of glimpses, but they haven't been able to like, strand that together into a good run yet.
So I had the chance to talk to Alpha Luigi actually, and the way they're taking this tournament is a big learning curve. Like they want to learn as much as they can, and they're just very excited to be here, which I can understand. I don't think their team just like, we're going for first place. Which of course, I think that should be the mentality for every team, but they just want to take as much information, prepare for the next season.
Plus, if you want to talk game specific, Erangel's the biggest portion of our battlegrounds that we go on here, and their first Erangel started off catastrophically.
Yeah.
Now, if we get themselves a different playing path, maybe we can see them actually convert a few more points here or there and allow that playing path to even just give them the drop spot they want, because we've only had one Erangel so far.
Here's a quick question for you two, completely off topic. Max, are you good at basketball?
No, I'm actually absolutely horrible.
Chorus, are you good at basketball?
No, I'm about 3'12", so absolutely not.
That does explain a lot of things. I'm used to be good at basketball. We're going to find out how good our TJ be at basketball, and we'll be back here in just a few moments. Okay, that's not fair. He had to chase the ball and lost time. I mean, you got to think ahead of time. You know, you might miss, but don't miss so badly that you have to run after the ball and replay.
They did us proud in one of the games where they won, but now they've just represented us terribly when it comes to the basketball. I can't believe it. But then again,
keep them in line, you know?
Are European teams that renowned for basketball? It's mostly the Americans that are pretty good at this, no?
Yes.
Come on, as an honorary American,
I mean,
tell us.
I haven't been in America and lived in America in over 10 years.
You're tall. You're supposed to be good at basketball because you're. Is that how?
Those are the rules. Yeah.
Those are the rules.
If you're above like like 6 foot, like you're supposed to be good.
Yeah.
I don't like these stereotypes. 6 foot's not that tall for basketball. Are you kidding me?
Tall.
Do you know the current like height of basketball players is like 6'7"?
Okay. You're taller than 6 foot.
Not finding
no?
excuses.
I'm not 6'7". And at 6'7" is like a short player. But anyways, let's talk about these teams here. We did get to see your overalls a little bit, and you're talking about how Enigma, they need to step up. I was wondering, like, obviously this is kind of their home region, right? Obviously, I think they're from Iraq, so not necessarily from Saudi Arabia, but this is a lot of pressure for them to perform when it's like their home turf. And I wonder if that might be getting to them.
I think that can be right. You got the offline event buff, and you also got the nerf from the offline events, right? That could be happening. Is the pressure can be getting to them? Like that over there, you're gonna have a lot of Falcons fans, you're gonna have a lot of Enigma Galaxy fans. You don't want to disappoint, but when you start like having a bad roll of games, it can just snowball into a really negative effect. So hopefully they can pick themselves back up, and they don't have a lot of time to do so. So we need to see results like very soon.
I also just saw the playing path.
I don't know if that's actually the one we're sticking with.
I
think that's a replay of match 1 of today.
But that's actually a little bit of a problem in a short form tournament. If you do get even just 2 not easy Erangel playing paths as a whole, that already kind of puts a little bit of a thorn in your side.
Okay.
Let's be real.
If this is actually, I know you guys at home can't see this, but if this is actually staying true to what we're seeing, this also means that Vampire could have another ridiculous game.
Same rotation. Like, they do the same thing in the same circle. It could work out.
I mean, sure, it's very, very game-specific to game-specific, depending on how things go as a whole. But yeah, I mean, we will see how that does go down. Because they started down in Primos with that kind of split. They played it very well. They're able to get those wide rotations. And notably, actually, on Erangel, our first Erangel, there was quite a few teams in the pack going for the wide rotates. And I'm a big fan of that because it just allows you to look for those better entry points compared to smashing your head into a wall and not making anything happen with it.
It's cool to see that all the teams are willing to put extra thought behind like their rotation and really trying to find the best entry point. Go show the homework has been done and they are willing to like aim for the better position in every circle. So we'll see. But if that circle is real, which it seems like right now it is, like sorry, the plane path.
I am hearing it's a rehost, so that's not actually.
Okay, it's not real. Okay. Cool.
So way to take all that analysis and throw it in the trash.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of happy it's a regame because 2 plane paths that same very southern plane path.
I was going to say, no one at home has any idea what the plane path is because we didn't mention it. But I'm glad
well, if they watched game 1, we were like, oh, it's kind of like game 1. But yeah, so for very, very southern plane paths, obviously, like that lends itself a little bit to those military teams. Even though there's only 2 of them right now in terms of Wildcats as well as Stalwart that are kind of moseying over towards Novo area. But even then, the circle can still shift hard north, and you have to make those wide rotates, which are also important, especially on Erangel for the macro play.
And I think one thing we really need to take into account for this Erangel in particular, this is our second Erangel. So that means teams that had a little bit of a rough first drop, bad first rotation, they are going to be able to learn from that and just bring that to the table in this second Erangel. So that hot drop you had from Virtual Gaming Squad on Box Gaming normally shouldn't happen. Some weird hot drops that were happening in other compounds should not happen. So this one should be our first normal game technically, where not really, you got 18 teams in the lobby still, but it should be at least a little bit easier for teams to adapt to it.
You just had to go there. First normal game. Wait till we get the rehost, and you're going to see the plane path south again.
If it happens, I'll be like, well, I mean, you know, that's how it's going to go.
Well, I want to give you guys something to think about while we watch a video. What is your favorite type of donut? And I bring that up because we're going to be actually taking a look and learn a little bit more about Team Donuts. We'll be back here in just a second.
そうですね、自分たちのチームの特徴としては、チーム内日本の中でもやっぱりファイト力だったりがやっぱり他のチームよりは優れています。チームの中で一番強い選手ですかね。そうですね、やっぱり IGL として活躍しているミサイルもいるんですけど、やっぱり自分は国内のリーグで MVP を取ったっていうのはありますし、やっぱりそれなんか。
Well, I hope you guys have been brushing up on your Japanese, watching your animes. Max, can you translate everything? Because I know you're quite a connoisseur of anime.
I think you said One Piece is the best anime, and that's pretty cool.
Okay, anyways, Kalaris.
Don't ask me about donuts. Or
What's your favorite type of donut?
I got 2 favorite types of donuts, actually. I get a nice salted caramel donut, and I also get a bacon-flavored donut in Krakow.
Wait, say that again. Maple bacon or bacon?
Just bacon.
Just bacon?
It's fantastic.
Was there bacon in it, or was it like infused?
I'm going to give them a free plug. Onuts in Krakow. Go visit it. It's a good
place.
Oh,
yes. You know what? After this day's done, I'm headed over there. I'm going to go pick one up. I've actually seen like
fly over
maple,
there.
I've seen maple donuts with bacon on it because maple syrup and bacon goes well together.
No, they just literally do bacon. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's also fantastic?
Me?
Spotify, who's actually one of our sponsors here. If you guys haven't, you can check it out
donuts.
and download it. You know what? I use it all the time, traveling, at home, at the gym, because clearly I look like I go to the gym. I listen to them nonstop. So, Max, your favorite donut?
I'm going to be very boring and say
He's going to say a croissant.
Can you qualify as I mean, it's a
no, it's not a donut.
It's a failed donut. Okay, kind of in the shape. I love a baguette. Okay, it's pretty good. just stretch it.
That's
like,
weird.
I'll have a BLT. That's my favorite donut. So what is it? Sprinkles?
Really, yeah, just like sprinkled donut with just like sugar on top of it. It's just
okay. What kind of sugar are we talking about?
Favorite donut?
Yes, I'm a simple man.
To be fair,
like simple tastes.
In Europe, you don't really have like a great assortment of donuts. My personal favorite is actually the plain donut because it's like slightly sweet.
You just said the same as him.
Like the sugar, the sugar is plain donut.
No.
Wait.
Plain donut has no sugar on it. Has nothing on it. It's just the donut.
Why would you do that to yourself?
It is delicious. You know what? I don't need to hear any more of this. Maybe we can bring in our casters here in a second as we get on into our 4th match of the day, and they can tell me what their favorite donut is, because 7, I know, in Texas, you get some really good donuts. But ladies and gentlemen, we still have, 3 matches left to go today. We are past our halfway point, but we're going to bring in our commentators for their first time of the day. We got Avenger and 7 Worlds Gaming.
Thank you so much, Jason. That was an amazing segment, especially about the donuts. I love donuts myself. But
What's your favorite donut?
My favorite one is the one with icing or frosting. You know, it's just a simple one. I'm like Jason. I like it just like a simple stuff. A little bit of maybe sugar sprinkle on top of it.
Yeah, I like the extra sugar. I just want it to be like filled with strawberries. That's what I'm into. That's what I want to be seeing.
All right, this is our first game and the 4th game of today. I am super excited to get this started 7 here. This has been some crazy games already, obviously, with all the regions, all the countries clashing, and 18 teams. That is a spanner in the works for me. It is so hard, especially with the amount of pressure that comes out. We saw some of the potential hot drops. And as the desk was talking about, you know, the rotations that we're seeing, the way that sometimes we're going to see the hot drops with the hard plane paths, and that is what I'm really interested in seeing once we get live here with game number 4.
Yeah, something that I really enjoyed that Max was talking about was just how this is going to be a normal Erangel in a way. This team's already kind of know what happened in the first one. I do want to see, though, if Vampire Esports can actually pull out another 24 alien win, or if any other team can beat them. I mean, Stalwart Esports right now, third place. I feel like
consistent.
I feel like they're destined to just have at least a win.
Yeah, I mean, if they can continue this consistency, it would be crazy. Also, if they continue getting all these eliminations, right? Because obviously, with 2 more teams available, there are those 8 points extra per game, and that's also why we potentially could see some, 25-plus elims wins out of this tournament here, and that's what I'm really excited for.
I have one for you while we're waiting for the game to start. Do you think we're going to see any team get over 30 elims in one match?
That would be insane. That would be absolutely insane. I would hope so, but because of how everything is going out, it has to be, I feel like, some of the start of the days, right? Because if it doesn't happen today or tomorrow, the teams are going to be more settled in. They're going to be knowing exactly where to drop, and also they will have all the information from day 1 that they can go back, look on, and see, all right, how do we improve for day number 2?
Yeah, I feel like that first game was just a perfect storm for that performance of Vampire.
Yeah, it was. And also how everything ended up being, how the rotations came in. Also, it's just, it is so wild to have these semi-urban endings where some of the teams, they're coming out from the bridges or from the north side. They have to cross water and get against all these obstacles here, and they're just able to do so. But 7, we are ready with the second Erangel of the day and the 4th game. So we're basically halfway through now. We're going to have 3 more total games, and this is going to be a fun one. Also, a pretty good plane path here. We're starting over Georgia Pole. We're going to go down towards the southeast over Military Island.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the desk is going to be happy seeing this playing pad. This is actually more likable to me. I'm interested to see what the first zone is going to be like and how these teams are going to be reacting. And another thing that the desk was talking about, that Mega Man Galaxy, like, this is a team that a lot of us expected a lot out of. And right now, they're a team that's currently sitting just with 2 points, and they didn't have one of the best starts either. That was the first team that was eliminated in this tournament. I'm hoping they can turn it around here on this match.
I hope so too here. But we are seeing some teams jump out. I'm curious to see if we're going to see some of these famous hot drops here, or some of the contests on the cars potentially that could become deadly. And let's see how many teams also end up going over to the Military Island to back-to-back, obviously going toward Farm and Milta. They're going to be pretty good on the eastern side. The question is also, are we going to have the circle? No, it's not going to be fine. We have a little bit of a chance here, 7. A little 20-25% chance that it could go south and be a real rough circle for these teams.
And this is when my toxic trait comes out. This is when I want to see that excitement.
Well, the worst
right?
possible.
Yes. I want that circle to go just in between. I want to see some water, okay? I want to have some of the military base, and I want to have some of the mainland as well. So we already get some of the fights here. Atani Esports being able to get the knock there on 52 Pharaoh. This is a great start for Atani Esports, actually, because and something to point out, they have Cinetexa. They have a player from Brazil that has been added for this tournament. So I think it's time that we actually start seeing a good performance out of Atani Esports here on a global event.
Yeah, I would really love to, though. Let's see what they can do. They get another one down. Pain goes down. That's a lot of pain for him straight there. Here fighting in the God compound just west of the Godka area. And that's going to be a great start for Atan. Let's see what Daku can do here, though, 7. Is he going to be able to get down 1? No, just a quick peek.
Yeah, I think they're just going to be waiting patiently. You can see Senatexla right now is just flipping the buggy in the background. If this is going to be a time right now, Fran has to push that. Daku's going to just back off a little bit. They're going to be looking to reset. I think they has given enough time for Senatexla to actually push up into them. There you go.
Oh, the backup. He gets in. Daku goes down. Senatexla, fantastic backup coming in this situation here. A little bit of fire. Vaz, what is he able to do here for 52?
The good thing right now is that, I mean, Atan has everything going for them, right? They
100%.
have one of the 52 esports players just pretty much against the wall.
Yeah.
What's going to happen here and how they're going to be able to approach this? You can see them, Choco trying to get that different angle, and how are they actually going to be able to push that? We have seen teams throw in a way this kind of pushes when it's just one player.
Oh, Vaz, they are circling him though. Look at this, nice backup coming in, and they're just going to take him down. That is pretty damn amazing. Well played here by Atan, 52 out in first place.
Yeah. Talking about a great start, this is what I want to see out of Atan. I mean, they ended up with 5 elims in the first match, 3, and then in the past match, they only had 1 elim. 4 right off the bat. This is what you want to see.
All right, also here, Virtual Gaming Squad. Maybe have some information that there might be one of the players here from Vampire Esports. I don't think so, though. They're not really looking for him to just go away. The Glass House compound here is a really good one, but they have to rotate further, obviously, when the circle is further east.
Yeah, Vampire just playing it patient. Say, you know what? We're just going to be waiting and see what happens. Let's let them do their thing, and that's exactly what's going on. And I mean, if you don't have to get into a fight this early on, just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. But it feels like they have an idea, right? Because obviously he could be, he could have dropped close to it and then obviously been looting. But no, they are not going to find him. He's going to be fine here. Fluke.
The circle is going to start closing in, though. I want to see what 4 Rivals is going to be doing. I mean, they're currently towards the north. Bernie. With Vampire Esports, I think he's just going to continue to stay down. He's going to be super, super patient.
All right, let's see what the situation is going to be with the rotations. It is a pretty good circle. I want to see either a really rough one, we're talking military base, 50-50, something like that, or a good center one. Because on the Potato Hill, there is a lot of good areas to be fighting around farm. These farms with the snake compounds, there's a lot of compounds that could be taken. And there's really basically just a lot of real estate that is available for these teams. So we could potentially see a lot of teams sending it in towards the center rather than what we've seen so far in the tournament. A lot of edge-heavy play, especially on Miramar. That's very, very edge-heavy. And obviously because also how this circle ended up being. Morph in Yasnaya.
And I mean, for the last game, Morph, what a performance, right? And we're talking about them. We're saying how that was a team that went from 0 points to hero points, being able to collect those 20, I think it was 22 points for them. That's what you want to see out of the Indonesian teams. I'm pretty sure a lot of people right now on YouTube are going to be doing Indo Pride. And next week, I mean, on the after party event, they're going to be also having Bigatron. So if more can actually make it there, I want to see that. I want to see those giants just battle each other.
Virtual Gaming Squad also fighting right now. Let's see how that's going to turn out as well. If it's just going to be one. Seoul did lose 1 player, Omega. And now the other guys from Team Seoul are leaving.
There's a lot of teams right now trying to scout, trying to figure out where they're going to be going. You can see Star Wars Esports finally starting to move a little bit. I think they're going to make sure that their bridge is going to be clear and they're going to be able to make a move for it. Right now, the amount of loot they're going to be able to get is going to be amazing. And I think this is great for them. Nobody bothers them at the start, right? And it looks like they're just going to have a clear path. If for some reason it does go to the main island, they're going to have a clear path. And I feel like this is why they're currently being able to be consistent. And I mean, Star Wars Esports, this was a team that, by a lot of people, they think that they are going to be the winners of this event. So I'm interested to see if that consistency, even though they don't have a chicken dinner yet, if that consistency is going to continue.
That is like 3 games back to back to back third. That is very impressive considering the format, how the teams are playing, the difference in teams. You're not playing a bit against your usual regional teams. You're not playing against teams that you usually know. So that is that's pretty impressive. And I think, especially the guys on the desk, they talk so much about Stalwart and how their expectations is high. Let's hope that Max is not here to curse them, but rather bless them together with Kylaris.
And one of the teams we were talking about earlier, Nigma Galaxy. I mean, right now, middle of Pachinki, with this circle, you're in a way you're kind of blessed. Just take your time, see what's going to happen. Nobody, more than likely, nobody's really going to be trying to push you. But you can see, you were talking about Potato Hill. Guess what? There's a lot of teams going there right now.
There is. It's a lot of good information to be taken from the high ground there, but also you can't be some teams can be sneaking up, and right now Seoul, they are pulling up here by the shacks, and Damwon Kia is lurking in the back, and they're already throwing some of the utility that way here. Vivian and Nate's coming in, and then Seoul hears it. Goblin's the only one that's currently left in the back for it. Let's see if that's going to continue, if he's going to stay kind of an anchor, or at least just make sure that his teammates is going to get away safely, and then he can leave as the last guy, or if they're going to contest Damwon Kia here on the high ground.
I think they were just scouting. Those two players on the card were trying to figure out, you know what, are we going to be able to use that advantage with Goblin being able to just kind of keep them focused there? It didn't happen. They decided to go back. Overall, Team Seoul not being too aggressive, making sure they know where they want to go, and that's what you want to see at this stage.
Especially here, once we see the second circle pop, then they can decide, are we going to fight for it? Are we going to leave? Are we going to have to make a big rotation? And soon, 7, we are going to see the next circle here. And this is a big decider. We're going to see if the teams are going to have to stay or if they're going to be moving. A lot of teams still moving in. They're basically on the edge or just outside the circle. And then they're going to have to either continue for a very long time if it's a hot shift against them, or if it's going to be a center circle. Right now, most of the teams would love a center shift.
Yeah, and with TJB, I mean, you see TJB now starting to move down to the south. They're like, okay, you know what? We have plenty of time to loot up. Let's actually move along. And something that I enjoyed there from Seoul Esports, they were just waiting patiently. They made sure that they sent only one player across that bridge. They made sure nobody was waiting for them. And they were like, okay, it's clear. You know what? Just come our way. More than likely, it's not going to go to military base, even though, never mind.
You summoned it.
I'll take it. I was saying I wanted to bring out my toxic trait of it being in the middle. I mean, it's looking promising right now.
Yeah, it's also hard because the amount of water that is in play right now is making the vast majority of the center of the circle not playable unless you want to be in the water. But we're going to see a lot of teams come to this southern hill of the Pochinki. There's a big dip. There's some good trees to be played, but mainly 2 compounds. The pack compound and the double barn compound are going to be the main ones that are going to be fought for, and obviously some of the compounds west of farm. Let's see how some of the teams are deciding to do here.
One of the teams I'm currently looking at is Vampire Esports. I mean, they're just taking way too long with time right there for me. What I would like to see, and you can see back-to-back, Killswitch, one of the main players actually getting eliminated. Oh man, that's going to hurt them big time. And this is, I got to bring up my NA trait now. I was hoping back-to-back would have good performances here. So far, after 3 matches, they had 7 points, not what you expect to see out of that team.
Oh, that's unfortunate for them. Hopefully they're able to step it up and especially learn towards. Now that you're casting them, maybe they're stepping up. No, Erangel still taking some shots towards Stahl. Pika goes out. It's going to be going down as well. That's 1 elimination saved for Erangel again. Good performance for them. 2.
And then you have J-Way just passing by. Oh, no. J7, please, keep going.
Go away. No. That is so unfortunate. And a strong defense here for Regans. Really good performance with them so far. They're sitting in a decent compound if it goes north-northeast, but they are not the most centered team right now. But they're going to be fine. They got some of the elimination points they wanted, and now they're able to secure this. Morph have heard that in the distance.
And the good thing there with Reagan's Gaming is, I mean, they were able to take full advantage of that. A lot of those teams weren't really expecting them to be there, and guess what? You end up being able to get 4 elims. That's not bad. At this point, that's not bad. You didn't lose a single player. You didn't have to heal. You didn't have to lose any utility. That's maybe one of the best stuff that you can expect out of a team.
Such a good start for them here, considering still have 17 teams remaining, 63 total players. And the Wildcats, they are guarding the bridge. And this could be really interesting because if we see a southern shift, worst case scenario, or for your toxic trade, what you hope for, then it's going to be a huge game for them. They could either get past fast, or they could be gatekeeping everyone that's going to be trying to go across on the western bridge.
And as we're seeing all of that, I'm also looking now back-to-back Polo. He's staying right there, very, very close to the water to see if he was going to maybe have to rotate to the military base because he's by himself now. That's going to be a very hard rotation, so it's interesting to see that. And then TJB, we saw that north to south rotation. Right now, they're not really having to worry about much. As I say that, Lin gets knocked.
Oh.
I'm just caster cursing this.
Yeah, it's just basically live caster cursing them, or it could be some of the other amazing casters that we have here in the arena. Obviously, so many languages is covering these amazing games, and we're gonna be seeing the next circle pop just shortly.
Please,
and then
madness.
You're hoping for chaos.
Yes.
For anarchy. And that would be the southern shift. Let's see if it happens.
I kind of wanted to go to military base now. I know earlier I said, oh, and as I said that, it decides to stay just on the main island. Okay, well, we'll take that. We'll take that.
That's fine. And it's also pretty damn good for the majority of the teams because it is kind of center in the northern side. So the vast majority of the teams, they are already in a damn good spot. Seoul, one of them, 4 Rivals, also sitting pretty good. And as we're talking about Enigma Galaxy, they need to have a good game now. They need to have this ball starting to roll for them. Otherwise, they're going to have a really rough day one, and it's going to be hard to catch up.
Yeah, with Enigma Galaxy, I mean, we're talking earlier about how they were in Pachinki, how they had everything going for them. And right now, I'm not able to even spot them. They're nowhere near to be found there. 4 Rivals has actually taken over Pachinki, which is a great, great spot. And look at them. They're going to be able to catch people. If they're rotating, they're going to be able to cause some damage and at least back them up.
Let's see what Donuts is going to be able to get out of this one here. They're also sitting pretty in this situation. Obviously on the northern side of it, but still, they are holding on to quite a lot of real estate in this situation.
And if we do end up getting, for some reason, the circle just to end up a little bit towards the east-north, right, of Pachinki, where we have all those fields, I hope all these teams are just currently saving those utilities.
What I love the most about Donuts' position right there is that they're able to become the last team to leave the barns and then run up onto the hill and then basically clear the whole Pachinki east side hill. But Vampire is on the move. Let's see what they're able to do. They have Vivo Keat Stars in the distance. Let's see what the Brazilian guys are able to do. Obviously had the pressure of covering the PMWI Brazil, so I know what these guys are capable of, and they are huge fraggers.
Would you say Vivo Keat is your favorite team to win this?
Not favorite team to win it, but I definitely root a little bit for them because I know these guys are really, really good. But Adrian's going to be taken down, and I basically just counter what I just said. Unfortunately for Adrian. Actually,
we're talking about Caster Kirsten. We're seeing it here live, ladies and gentlemen. It is happening. Vivo Keat, after they watch that, they're just going to be absolutely hating us. But for Vampire Esports, they took their time. They waited to make sure they were going to get a clear shot. They actually had 3 players aiming down, and they were able to make sure they got that knock and finish that illim, which is it's something you want to see because if we go back, Vampire Esports on the first Erangel, they were stealing a lot of illims.
Yeah, they were. They had only a few knockdowns, but secured a lot of eliminations and a lot of points through the steals there. Cielo is going to be moving towards Ravenclaw. And they're going to be having a rotation through the fields, try to maybe sneak in, get in under the skin of them, and maybe take a fight to them. Let's see what happens. He's just getting hit from every single side, and Ravenclaw is going to be able to take down Cielo and confirm the elimination here.
Yeah, that's just unlucky for Cielo. You can see the tire got popped, and then all of a sudden he just didn't know what to do. He tried to just switch seats. Maybe he could just snap on somebody. It was not going to happen. Vampire Esports right now is looking good. It might not be the 24 illims, right? But something might be happening for them.
Yeah, and the next circle here did shift slightly north, but still it maintained the vast majority of the land in play right now. So we're going to see a lot of teams fight for this next terrain coming up forward. TJB most likely going to be able to get the revive off here. Kist, a good situation. We see VGS as well. Virtual Gaming Squad fighting the Wildcats. Let's see what they're able to do right now. Ooh, utility being used.
Playing it slow. He's going to be able to be found. He is getting knocked. Where's his other teams trying to get the flank? And they're going to be able to. Can they knock him? He's still staying alive somehow. Avenger.
That is wild. Virtual Gaming Squad with a lot of pressure on from the side as well. Boron, half HP, one more. No, he gets countered. Oh my god. That is insane. Super well played by the Wildcats here. We can hear our Turkish colleagues going absolutely crazy next to us. And one shot is down to a 1 versus 1 right now with Boron. Let's see who's going to be able to take it home for them.
Wildcats. I mean, Boron, with that kind of angle, that saved their team. You could see what Virtual Gaming Squad was doing. They were trying to get different angles. They were trying to rotate around them. But Boron said, you know what? I can actually see you. Doesn't matter what you're trying to do. It's not going to work. And he ended up working out wonders for them. Hopefully, he can pick up his squad right now and secure those elimination points.
Oh, he's actually going to go off. The blue zone is pushing them. Nope. Boron's going to try to maybe secure the points. The zone is coming in. Garavi taking some shots, but no. And this means Wildcat's going to lose a few players. Boron is going to try to get into a situation where he can play as a solo, but it's going to be hard. A lot of the terrain ahead of him here, 7 is taken already.
And with Virtual Gaming Squad, I mean, they do decide to wait and actually revive those players. I wonder if that's going to hurt them long term. We'll see what happens with them. And we do have Team Falcons here going up against more. the winners of the last game. Can Morph continue on this trend? Team Falcons, I mean, a surprising start out of that team too. They ended up in second place in Miramar. Was not expecting that, but I love to see it.
Yeah, back-to-back out in 17th. And of course, the Wildcats out in 16th, and now Stalwart out in 15th place. And we came in, we say, all right, it's so impressive to see them back-to-back third place, but now they are going to have their bad game of the day. Maybe we'll see the next few games they're going to be having a combat. Let's see what Falcon is going to be able to do in this situation here. 7. They're putting a lot of pressure onto Damwon Kia.
Yeah, and with Damwon Kia, I'm intrigued. I mean, you also have Box Gaming that's currently of the horizon. I wonder if they're going to be able to push up on that. Falcon, it is currently spread out a good bit. It will be interesting to see if they are going to be willing to take this fight on to Damwon Kia with Falcon Yusuf. Just, I mean, 47 bullets in a Dream. I'm pretty sure he might be able to catch somebody off rotating. They just have to be careful, make sure that nobody sneaks up on them. And here we go, getting some shots, putting out his position. And is he going to be able to secure? Oh, he's not. And then we have TJB Esports EU getting eliminated as well. What's going on?
It's a wild game already. Damwon Kia putting some pressure on it. Now also,
he ended up backfiring. Remember, I was telling you if it was going to backfire for Virtual Gaming Squad?
It did.
It did.
Yeah, it took too long time. They have to finish their fights fast. And now Falcon putting on some pressure onto Damwon Kia. Forest goes down. Let's see what Dama is going to be able to do here with the DP28. Only a level 1 helmet. So it takes much more damage and durability on it, though. Falcon under pressure from multiple sides. New circle has popped, and as gone northeast. When we were talking about it, Donut, they were potentially going to be able to have a massive game from this, and they have the center compound 7.
They do, and I'm intrigued to see what Team Soul's going to do right now. They're currently sitting in the middle of that field, or kind of close towards the mountain. I want to see if they're going to have to rotate or how they're going to set themselves up. If they have any vehicles also for cover, because I know in those areas, you don't have any vehicles, and this is what happens to Stalwart Esports. Oh, man, we wanted to see that consistency. Wow. It didn't end up happening.
Yeah, that's crazy. Regans are able to sweep and take control of the southern side of the circle, and they're continue to do so. Now Falcon's putting some pressure on to Damwon Kia. Takes down Song. Amazing.
Damar, that's what you want to see at a Team Falcon.
So
Don't
impressive.
Be scared. Take those shots, Martin.
So impressive. Now Box also trying to get in, and the eastern side is going to get more and more occupied with both Falcon and Box. As you see here on screen, powerful. Putting more pressure onto Box, trying to push them away from their edge, making sure that they have the control.
That Box Gaming pushing up to the rock just in time. I mean, Yusuf right now, he wants some elims. He wants those points.
Falcon still in this situation, putting on pressure for this.
Yusuf, I mean, Team Falcon, they went from probably ended up getting some great amount of limbs to now just backing off a little bit, playing it safe, and kind of like to see it. And then when they see the opportunity, they go for it. This is what you want to see at a Team Falcon. I mean, Yusuf being able to get those knocks. Can they confirm that Ilum? That's going to be the big question mark. You can see them trying to rotate. Box Gaming now is starting to get pushed from behind by RSG. I'm not sure, Avenger here, who is going to come out on top. I mean, Box Gaming, I'm actually surprised that they're still alive.
Yeah, they are under so much pressure from Falcon right now, and they continue to survive. And Reckon's also continuing into that. And it's kind of helping that they're in this dip here, because now that means that Reckons is also putting pressure onto Falcons. They want all of it. Reckons really taking control on the eastern side from the south.
And guess what? It's helping out Team Falcon right now, because they're going to have to, at some point, they're going to have to just give up this fight. You're going to have a disadvantage too. And there's so much more stuff going on right now with other teams that they need to be careful. You don't want to focus too much right now on RSG. If you can somehow rotate and get actually inside the circle, you have to do it. But wow, those shots, I mean, as I'm saying that, Team Falcon just keeps proving me wrong. They're able to get those shots, they're able to get those ilms, and it's currently working for them.
Yeah, all right, let's see what Falcons can do here. They are moving a bit around. They're trying to get out of this, but Reagan's just putting on some pressure on them, but they're losing out as well. Means that Reagan's is probably going to go out soon. Vivo keyed out in 8th place here with just 1 elimination. Falcon able to survive this is a mystery to me, 7.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out wonders for them, right? They were able to hit those shots. That's pretty much what it came down to, and they were able to become aggressive when they needed to be. They saw some knocks, they went for it, but this is, I feel like this is maybe when they needed to just try to move on from that fight, try to see what's going on over that hill, and try to locate themselves. Where are you going to go after this, right? What is your next move?
Exactly. They want to make sure of Reckons are getting out here. Vampire taking control of this shack here, super important for them. We have 4 rivals in the distance there, moving across the field. Shots are coming onto them. That's a knock as well. Super well played by Schweppes. Nice shots coming in. And also, without us seeing, Enigma Galaxy being able to take some of the bunkers area. That is just so important for them. Now, Freak putting on some pressure onto the Vampire Esports guys.
And at this point, if you do have any grenades, Enigma Galaxy, please start throwing them. You know exactly where he's going to be at. You know he can't move out of there. Vampire Esports is a team that you don't want lingering behind you because they're just going to come and strike. And this is what I'm talking about. Let those grenades roll and the shots too.
Super well played by Freak and Enigma Galaxy. This rotation, this is a macro call to get into the bunker. They saw potentially open, or they did a blind rotate. Then they got in and took control of it. 4 guys alive, and they're now trying to make sure that they can close this game out after a rough day 1 here. But game 4 is looking really good for them.
Vampire Esports is able to pick up that player. They are able to recover a little bit. Are they going to be able to get those seals? And then, as I was mentioning, Enigma Galaxy still needs to be careful with them. That is a very strong team, as you can see right now. Even though they might be pinned, Vampire Esports players are trying to get those ilms so they can move forward.
Rolf has an idea that Ravenclaw is there. Oh, nice! This is crazy good utility usage here for 4 rivals. Let's see if they're able to close some of it out. A lot of damage is being put out. Another one is found. Oh, it's actually finished off. Lappy's being ticked up on stone, though, now, and he's being finished off, too, with another elimination for Vampire Esports. USG coming out of the barns. They're putting on pressure from the north side. Falcon still alive on the east.
And guess what? Vampire Esports says, you guys decided not to eliminate us. Well, guess what? Now it's time that we put that pressure on them. And Donuts, USG, helped them out big time, too. This is what happened with Enigma Galaxy. I was hoping they would finish off that fight early. It didn't happen. And now we do have Team Falcon. Hopefully they can start picking some people off from here.
Oh, that's a headshot straight to the level 3 helmet. Donuts are not taking anything off it. Missile sends bullets raining his way. And that's going to be a really rough situation for Falcons, trying to get the revive off, but the pressure from multiple sides are coming off. Reckon still trying to sneak in, but the circle shifted north 7 straight onto Donuts and Enigma Galaxy.
And with all these teams distracted by Team Falcon, this is actually going to work wonders for Regan's game. And you can see them just little by little crawling, but hey, it's going to work out for you. And right now, you're going to see, I mean, 3 players from Vampire Esports. You do have 1 player from 4 rivals just laying down and playing patiently. This is going to be absolute madness. And as I say that, Regan's, no, RSG player gets eliminated. He was spotted.
Yeah, that's Regan's out in 9th. Or 6th, and with 9 eliminations, that's great for them. But Donuts, only team with 4 alive. They're probably going to be able to put a lot of pressure on the rest, and then they'll see if Vampire and Enigma, they're able to withstand this pressure, or what's going to happen here. Falcons, 10 eliminations in 5th place here. Such an honorable placement for them with the amount of points they're going to be able to get out of this one.
Yeah, I would say that was actually a great game for them, with considering how many fights they got on.
And also the terrain they came from.
Yes, and they did have to end up rotating a little bit left. I mean, a little bit late here on this final circle, which kind of hindered them. But for them to be able to get at least those 10 kills is going to be wonders. And then we have Donuts. I think this might actually work out wonders for Donuts. I think that might be my favorite.
Oh,
but Vampire.
5 rivals as well coming in. Stone takes down Amodia. That's actually Enigma Galaxy out. They were in the middle. They got sandwiched completely in this situation. And this is such a good thing for Donuts now. Missile gone down. Oh, no. Rivals gone out too. We're just down to Donuts, and it looks like a donut game, this one.
We were talking about it before this game actually started. Well, guess what? It's bound to happen. Vampires, though. I mean, Vampire Esports, I am so impressed with the way they have been able to work out this final circle, the way they were able to put some extra pressure on Enigma Galaxy, even when they had some of their players down. This is great stuff, and if they can get another chicken dinner on Erangel, oh, man, that's going to secure a big spot for them at the top.
All right, they're trading revives in this situation. Want to get everyone up top again. And the question is, how is it going to end up? Looking violently out. The circle actually went away from both teams here in 7 this situation. Donuts has to come in from the northern side, try to use some of the utilities, use some of the smokes to try to get in. Vampire has a little bit more of the terrain, but Naoto has some cover. Let's see how much they have to work with. There's also a crate inside the circle, so that could be worked as hard cover instead of the soft cover that the smokes provide.
It will be, and even though they are throwing up those smokes, right? They're sending up the smoke line. I do like Naoto. It's currently going to have a little bit of a higher ground advantage over some of these players, so he might be able to spot something if he just jumps and sees them rotating. And as we say that, Ravenclaw being able to get the knock. I mean, if you're going to push, this is the time, and he is going to do that. He's going to try to just get cover behind that crate that you were mentioning, and now it becomes down to who is snaking on their path and who's going to be able to get the next knock. Vampire, though, so aggressive. Look at them. They're not wasting any time. They know they currently have the advantage in regards to one of the players was knocked, but then it backfires. One of the Molotovs from Naoto, one of the players I was telling you, being able to get the angle. What's going on here, Vampire? You guys had it going for you.
Yeah, the opening knock was important, but they're putting a lot of pressure onto them and just making sure they stay back there. Oh, it's going to be good for Donuts. They're going to go in and they're going to get it. It's a game for Donuts USG. What a great one. But Vampire able to get another great game here on Erangel 7.
Yeah. They didn't get the win, but that sends a statement to me. That sends a statement in regards to being able to keep their composure. And for Donuts, they get the chicken dinner and the composure that they were able to hold off here at the end. I think Naoto being able to get that top angle, being able to have the height advantage, I felt like that was a big time play for that player.
Yeah, and Donuts being able to get out of the compound. They're playing like they are planning to. They want to stay all guys alive. They want to get into the circle and obviously close it out. And you can see here, that 4-player advantage versus being only versus
Japanese team,
that is what won them the game. Vampire had the upper hand, but Donuts is able to close it out.
And one of the teams
वो सोल का तो मतलब
what could have been
सोल का तो सोल हो गया
they had the perfect spot and then
सोचा था second या third तो pro
and it was just too much for them to handle. They took too long. I feel like the fight with Vampire.
बाहर की teams बाहर की हैं भाई.
If they had more utilities, I think that was the time.
Anyways, क्या कर सकते हैं? Well try, we can say, right?
The other team, sorry,
Game is all about playing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well try.
Able to put themselves into a central
Better luck next day.
Putting pressure on the rest of the teams, that's much better than we've seen from the first weekend. And maybe potentially clear an angle. They could potentially close out games in the future. But, guys, that is it from our first game here. We have 2 more games. We're going to go to a short break, and we're going to be right back with the desk who's going to break down this game further.
عايز تترجم راب؟ تعالى لي. ملوك الصين دي انا ملخصه في سطور، بس مين يقرا؟ فاهم؟ كلام الشارع ده انا هرسه كل المجال حبايبي. بروز.
وانا كاكازوكو مصدع القي نظره لو على الحلاوه عندي كاستر والاسم
عفرت يا عفرت، هتفضل معفرتها ولا ايه يا برو؟
انت مين يا هو ازاي ده دخل هنا يا جدعان؟
نكسر الدنيا الاول وبعدين نتكلم، نعيد من الاول.
لا 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 مش مسجل.
اخواتي
عشان فاهمين السين، سبوتيفاي عمل لك بلاي ليست الاقوى راب مصري، اسمع ملوك السين ببلاش.
Well, Donuts USG take home the victory, but what impresses us the most is Vampire, the team that we had questions about after the first match of, was that just a one-off and done, or is this Thailand here to play in? Well, we got our answer here in match, or well, the second Erangel, I should say. I'm just Kaplan, still your host, haven't been kicked off just yet. Maybe we'll switch things around. Maybe Maxman here, who to my left, might be hosting here at some point.
Nah, I don't. I politely refuse, Jason. I am not interested in your role.
Very nice of you.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a choice. It doesn't matter. I don't care if he's refusing. I get to choose if he's going to host.
You were staring me down.
I refuse to let him host. And we have, of course, Kalaris on the end as well. But, gentlemen, as you take a look at the match standings by STC, that was a ridiculous game, yet again, out of Vampire.
I mean, Vampire, the thing is, right, they gave himself, sure, that first good game, a little bit of invisibility. They're coming back up really strong once again. And their rotation, especially, like, we talked about their rotation around the northern side of that hill where Team Seoul stayed for the longest time. Like, the timing on that was key for them to get in those trenches. And then the way they just spread out against Donuts, I did not expect that to happen, but it was just spectacular.
You're talking about Pachinki South Road, right? Between the two kind of hill ranges that kind of create that little valley, right? And normally, that little valley that they entered into that area from and then moved into the west side of those fields, normally that is a death sentence almost. Like, it's very difficult to actually make that happen, but it's like hiding in plain sight. They knew a lot of the teams on those hills, not above them, were preoccupied with other teams that were on the hills as well. So have a little cheeky sneak on through there, get in those fields, use some smokes to move up to the dips that are all important. We'll talk about those dips in a moment because I thought that guaranteed the teams were there were going to be able to take the victory. And eventually one of them did. But yeah, Vampire converting 25 points after already an insane day to start things off. That's huge for them and Thailand.
And the thing I want to say for this match in particular is there were so many things that were great to see. Now you're like, oh, Jason, that's such a vague thing. First of all, we got to see VGS change their drop location, right? They moved away from box, went to Ferry Pier. They still had a team to contend with there. We saw RSG have finally some sort of resurgence out of the team that we have yet to see, able to put up some good numbers with 9 eliminations. We saw Enigma Galaxy as well finally show up here in this match. I feel like this really opened our eyes to like what potential, or maybe opening the eyes to the audience of what we've been saying about some of these teams and the potential they have here in this event.
I mean, that's what's going to happen when you have a second iteration of each map, right? This is the second Erangel. Teams could have that adaptation a little bit more, and they did change, especially like for VGS. You asked for them to change exactly where they went, right, Kalaris, to that very peer position of Big Split. They did chase down Vampire a little bit too long, but at least they didn't go out in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, so the Ferry Pier split was a decent choice. As you say, that fight, or that kind of, as you say, that chase went on a little bit too long. I do think they're a bit nervous about how they're approaching the game right now. That's just me kind of watching how they're moving around,
VGS, right?
VGS, yes. And I think that with their Ferry Pier drop, it's a decent spot, but I had to question how much potential loot they had because there was kind of that chase around against Vampires going on for a little bit longer than should have been happening, and then they had to transition north early as well to get themselves a bit more of a center spot. So I'd have loved to have seen their exact loot in those moments, but, you know, we can't look at every single thing.
Not yet, but maybe soon. Speaking of central spots, though, what about Team Seoul? They got themselves set up very nicely.
It's touchy, you know.
Okay. Oh, you don't want to talk about it?
No, we can talk about it. When they went for like those dip positions, the shed too, right? It was a good play. Like they had multiple options. You can stay on the hilltop, keep that position, or you can go central and try and aim for that chicken dinner, which in that case, that was what Team Seoul were trying to achieve, which no issue with that. I still do think, and you agree with me, Kalaris, on this point, like we did think that Enigma Galaxy should not have been allowed to get to that point, to that position that easily. It should have been punished severely by Seoul, and it seemed like the setup took maybe a little bit too long to really have the impact on Enigma.
Yeah, Enigma Galaxy's move was referenced in the cast, and it's something that's astutely pointed out, the fact that they were able to take that away from them. As soon as I see this circle fall on these fields, there's 2 dips that kind of create this opportunity for people to sit in and kind of survive. Seoul had one of them, and Donuts USG had the other. When I see this kind of circle, I think one of those 2 teams is going to win. However, Enigma Galaxy crashing onto Seoul and absolutely smashing their position completely stole that away from Seoul. I do have to question how strong Seoul is coming in, not being able to hold that dip when a team's crashing in like that, because they should have been able to put up more of a fight, I feel.
Yeah, and you can see that by the damage here right now, comparing it to Enigma Galaxy. Team Seoul, 367 damage, definitely not as much damage you would expect when you are a team trying to force other squads away from that spot. And then Enigma take exactly that position, and they step up when it comes to damage. Like, they are trying to do and make sure that they can force teams away in some way.
There's so much to talk about regarding those 2 dips. In terms of, like, when you use utility, the symbiotic relationship of those 2 dips, holding out other teams to make sure that they're not going to be approaching and things like that. And when it came to the very ending moments of Donuts USG actually winning that out, I was a little bit concerned from them because I don't think they had much utility left.
One molly.
To go up against Vampire. And we saw how strong Vampire was doing so well down in that kind of southwest dip compared to them. So, but they did win it out. Good for them, but I was concerned.
And you see how impactful, like, the threat of a potential, a nade or molly is actually at the end game there, because really, when you look at Vampire, they were all pinched in that small little position around the circle, and Donuts had the advantage. The fact that there were no nades, Vampire like, no nades are coming, we're just going to spread. You have those angles, and you're looking at Ravenclaw in particular. That could have been a complete 180, and it could have been Ravenclaw's win for the team.
And I'm sorry, Jason, I really love talking about these dips. The thing is as well is when you're Donuts USG, when you're looking down, no. When you're them and you're using utility in the late game, but not the late game, and actually displacing one of the teams, and you've used all your grenades and your mollies to try and get rid of them, you can't then crest the dip and go over to actually go and get your opponent's utility, because if you do that, you're going to be shot at by other teams. So you have to be very careful about when you use your grenades and your mollies to displace the opposite team on the other side, because you're not going to have any more to work with. You can't go and loot those loot boxes.
So I have a question for you, Kalaris. When are you going to get into coaching?
I like talking too much, and I would probably talk their ears off, and they'd be like, can you get out of the room, please?
Yeah, but then you could do the media days.
I don't want to do the media days. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you play the basketball.
He can do the media days. I'm rubbish at basketball. I told you I'm like 3 foot tall.
Yeah, but that's why you got a little loop, isn't it?
That's why.
No way.
Hey,
Stop talking to me.
We found one hoop that you can dunk on, okay? Let's take a look at the round report, though, from our 4th match of the day. Remember, we still have 2 yet to come, though, and see, again, who was our top damage dealer was. It's just going to be all Mike. Mike
Wazowski. I don't know. I don't know why I went with that.
That is definitely the PG version. I thought of something different.
Oh, no, not at all. No, but you know what? I'm impressed. This is not a team that I had on my radar when it comes to the PMWI. And really, the first game already, as you said earlier in the green room, right, Kalaris, this potentially was the biggest opening game we have seen in PUBG Mobile in like maybe forever. We'll have to check that. And they can keep the momentum a little bit to some extent, getting themselves almost a second chicken dinner in 4 games alone. That is, like, so far almost never seen in, like, this level of play. And if they can keep it up, like, it's going to be really hard to close that gap, even for teams like Star Wars or Falcons that are relatively consistent here.
No, indeed. I mean, actually, when you look at Mike, for astute watchers as well, he's actually not playing under that name in-game. He's playing under the name Stoned E with an I at the end of it. But the thing is that, yeah, the performance that he's actually putting up in these games is a little bit unheard of, actually, in a first day on an international tournament quite like this. I did not expect them to come in blasting like they are, but they're really controlling their areas very well. They're transitioning very well, playing as a cohort very well. I'm excited to see them play out more games. I really am.
I mean, you think back, right? He's there.
Yeah, exactly. You think back to Power AAA KPS, we ended up seeing that team like qualify on the final day quite consistently when it came to PMGC, but we know how strong Thailand can be. And I just wanted to show actually our top damages when it came to this match. And I want to point out one team in particular yet again, besides Vampire, which we talked about a ton, besides RSG, Falcon again. Falcons are playing so well, and I could actually hear from our green room the audience just cheering and shouting whenever they're getting more and more eliminations. They are really putting themselves on the map here.
We were talking about this so much with Kalaris in the green room. Like, their edge play on the East is so good. Like, any team would get remotely close, you're dead. You're done. There's no way you're going to be escaping that situation. So Falcons, if there's a fight coming their way, they capitalize on it. And the fights are, just like we saw from Vampire, they're really quick. Like, they're very snappy, and they don't lose players. And that's why you see them get that amount of eliminations in the mid-game super quickly.
Yeah, between, I would say, Falcons and Stalwart in terms of edge play right now as they're approaching circles and holding other teams out, they're up there. They are very much so showing some great quality on those edge plays. And the thing is right now is that actually some of these circles are very edge heavy. Not a lot of people are wanting to go into the middle of these fields. If you don't have those 2 dips in the middle, where else do you go? The edge is the only place you can play. And if you're taking the eliminations there, it's very, very profitable.
Okay. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually, you can see, about 2 minutes away until we are going to be getting underway with our next match of the day, which, of course, will be on Miramar. We're going to actually bring in our new commentators in just a second. And by new, I mean, well, it's the same commentators before, but they're just so good. They're so new. We can once again mention really quickly a big shout out here to MasterCard and Razer here helping support this event, making sure PMWI and G8 do happen. And, of course, with Miramar to come up next, we got to see some some consistency out of some teams when it came to Erangel #1 and Erangel #2. Now I'm hoping to see some consistency when it comes out of TJB on Miramar, considering we saw them take their victory as well. But once again, for you guys at home, all the things you can do to win some prizes. Make sure you update your profile pictures, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, to the team that you're supporting. And make sure you guys are leaving comments on the official platforms to get a chance to win some sweet rewards and use that hashtag PMWI. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take you underway here with our fifth match of the day. We got Avenger. I'm just going to get out of here and 7 Worlds Gaming.
It's okay. I call him that before, too, okay? We were literally just having that conversation. But, man, what a match that we just had. And we saw Vampire Esports perform well back-to-back now in Erangels. And now going into this Miramar, right? I want to see, as Jason was saying, TJB. Can you also perform well back-to-back on 2 maps?
Yeah, that'd be crazy to see. I would love to see it. Obviously, the consistency on maps usually follows. We saw with Stalwart that they were able to obviously have across all maps so far. But obviously, we want to see, is this their home map or was this a one-time thing? Obviously, their circle was perfect. We saw the overlook compound that they're able to push out of. And also, in general, in the La Daria area, it's having the high ground is just so damn strong. And obviously getting started soon. I love this arena, though, I gotta say, 7. It is amazing. Also, our augmented reality team flying us in here on over the Miramar. Actually, my favorite map, because this is where, this is where the teams that have their macro on point, that's where they shine. They know how to get to the high ground positions. They know how to scout. They know how to get into these fantastic situations where they can get a lot of eliminations.
Okay, I respect that. I respect that. You already know me. You already know I like madness, so it wouldn't be a surprise to you that I'm going to say Sanhok is my favorite match.
Course,
yeah. But what I am going to be looking at here is what's going to happen in Picado. I mean, in the first Miramar that we got a chance to play, it was Team Seoul lost 3 players in Picado to Box Gaming. I want to see if they're going to be able to adjust to that. We saw what Team Seoul was able to do in that previous match in Erangel. They were able to get a lot of the just major center stuff, but how are they going to start?
For sure. I want to see what this plane path gives us, though. We are going all the way south of Los Lunes, all the way up to the north side, close to La Carroria. And this opens up so many things. The vast majority of our teams here, they're going to be able to get into their usual drops or at least get a car and move in there. So let's see if we're going to see any hot drops, if we're going to see any contests, or potentially any gatekeeps. And obviously, the first circle, where do we go? Already early, Damonkey out. They're going to maintain a lot of control on the southwest side. Let's see how much they're going to be having. Highest damage so far. Not a surprise considering that they have had such a good performance in the first couple of games here. Vampire, quite impressive. Longest elimination here. That's where the change of the talk happens here. 375 meters and 373 meters. That is really damn close. And 2 players on top of the knockouts as well. Ravenclaw and Wave, of course, looking really sharp there. And the Nadelims, that's all Vampire here, 7.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that. I mean, with currently the way they're performing, as we're seeing the map right there, doesn't look to me like Team Seoul wanted to go Picado again with Box Gaming. And that's a smart thing, okay? You want to be able to get all those points. For everybody currently watching at home, let's watch PMWI together. Complete daily missions to earn points. Once enough points are accumulated, tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding rewards.
Yeah, and participate in the event solo or team up with other players, both is okay. Team up could get the reward more easy if you're able to win some of those games here. But let's take a look at this game here and how the circle is going to play out. I want to point out, though, Box is obviously, they're not going to get contested again.
Yep.
Because in the Picado arena, there's a boxing arena, and Box is obviously the best at boxing. So let's be completely obvious about that. It's a northeastern circle, 7, though, and that's a really interesting one because we have a lot of open areas. We have a lot of high ground areas. So I'm really curious to see how these teams, they're going to make their way. And there's a lot of teams outside the circle on our western side, south and north. So a lot of teams and a lot of pressure is going to be happening coming in from the southwest side of the circle here. So if the clever teams, and this is where I really love it, if the clever teams are really clever, they're going to take their long rotations on the southeast side or on the northeast side and try to get in on the northeastern side of the circle here because the vast majority of the teams are on the southwest side of this current circle.
And talking about clever teams, I want to see what kind of rotation Day1 Kia is going to end up doing here as they are currently looting in Valle del Mar. They're going to have so many options, right? And something that they got to keep in mind, if we go back to the first Miramar that we saw, a lot of these teams were playing that edge circle. And it was, I mean, it wasn't even close. Everybody was pretty much on the edge. So if you wait too long to try to get into that circle, that rotation is going to be super, super hard to get in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the really interesting one here. That's why I love Miramar, because we're going to be seeing that. Here, back-to-back, your hometown boys looting in Montenegro by themselves, not inside the circle currently, but they're going to have a really easy way in. They could go all the way to San Martin, my hometown, if they want to get an easy way in. The question is, does Stalwart stay? Does Falcon stay? Or do they try to take some of these more prevalent good compounds that we know that is close to the Hacienda area?
You say easy rotation for back-to-back, and I know the viewers currently can't see this, but if for some reason they take a little bit too long, Enigma Galaxy could kind of cut them off, and then it goes from that easy rotation to absolute madness, because they're also going to have to worry about the other team that's currently below that with Andrew and Vampire. I mean, that's a team that right now, with the way they're performing, I don't want to run into them. I'm pretty sure back-to-back definitely doesn't want to run into them.
And I think that's definitely something we're going to be seeing further into the tournament, is we're going to see, once we've done with day number 1 here, the teams are going to go back. They're going to look at all these rotations. They're going to look at all these plays. They're going to be like, all right, these teams are actually making the same rotations. So we could potentially gatekeep them or camp their rotations.
Yeah, and you were talking about all the area that's up in that's just open on the top east.
Yeah.
4 rivals right now taking full advantage of that, and now we're finally getting into a fight here. RSG against more of a team that didn't really perform that well in the first 2 matches. Miramar being one of them, and they end up losing Frenzy with their teammates nowhere to be seen. That's a good pickup right there for RSG.
Yeah, Regans again with these early fights here, they're really taking advantage of that. Lightning fast in that situation, and they're being able to close this one out. They are not inside the circle currently. They are just south of the circle in the southern side, close to Los Leones, or inside Los Leones. Now TJB, let's see what they're able to do. If they're able to have a crazy one for this situation. Obviously the higher end compound was fantastic for them, but right now they're far away. Box also in a rotation, currently going closer. They are quite center already, and potentially going to be able to take some compounds. And the crazy thing is, to me, is that obviously there's a lot of compounds available, but we are playing 18 teams 7. And throughout the games we've seen so far today, we're not seeing as many splits. We're not seeing as many greedy splits, these 2-2 splits and all these 1-1-2 splits, where all the teams are getting really greedy, because there are just this more amount of players, more amount of teams that are going to contest your compounds. So we see a lot more teams play closely knitted together, making sure that they stay 4 guys alive towards the late game, because as we've seen in the vast majority of the game so far, the teams with 1 extra guy just continues to win these fights, because obviously if you're in a 2 versus 1, 3 versus 2, 4 versus 3, you have the upper hand by default.
Yeah, and I mean, you're saying that we just literally saw it in the final ending of that previous Erangel. You saw Vampire, they did have 1 less player, and it kind of ended up hindering them. I feel like if Vampire would have had those 4 players, they would have definitely ended up winning that. And you do see TJB making sure that some of the players from Box Gaming back off. They don't want to be anywhere near them. Actually, Vampire Esports backs off. Don't come near us. That's what they're trying to say right now. And you were talking about earlier of all the open area that's on the top east. I mean, 4 rivals was able to take big advantage of Cruz del Valle, and then you have USG as well, El Hazard, just looting slowly, not having to worry about anything. And something that we're seeing completely different from the first Miramar is nobody's wanting to play this edge, okay? Everybody's wanting to go straight to the middle.
Yeah, exactly. We see Box, we see CJB right now. Some of the really high priority compounds here with the concrete building and the warehouse in the intersection. They're close southeast of Hacienda del Patron.
Ooh.
And Aton and Wildcats are in a fight. See what they're able to do.
We've seen what Boren can do, but now he's gonna have to be careful, because it looks like Bruno from Aton Esports is wanting to take this fight. He is gonna have Ray 77 with him to back him up. Can Bruno release the screen and at least get some damage and knock him? He is able to get that knock. Bruno coming up big. Insy's going to be able to confirm that too. He's got to watch out for the other player. And guess what? Some of the other players from the other team are also going to be able to push up. Wildcats being able to try to get that angle. You can see Lux right there. And it is going to backfire. This is just going south right now for Atani Esports.
Lux pushing in, super aggressive, trying to get more control of this, trying to deny the rest, and it's happening. It's so well played by Wildcats. And Aton is out in 18th place. They do get 1 with them. 1 elimination and 1 point secured for them here.
You can see that Atani Esports ended up getting that knock. And then they were like, okay, we got the Ilum. they got a little bit too complacent. You got to be able to finish that, and you got to be ready because you know that team is going to be coming. They don't want to lose. Nobody wants to lose players right now at this stage. And just go back and watch that battle, okay, at Tony Esports. You got to be able to learn a lot. Marv, Rocky, right now, trying to be sneaky. He knows that there's going to be a buggy right there. Oh, this is going to be an interesting fight between these two players.
He has information. Question is, can he hit it? Oh my god, that is on point. A lot of damage done. Now, let's see what they decide to do. Reagans, he's gonna, oh my god, that is so clever. Repositions the car, gets out. Morph could completely disengage from this fight. That's a good another nade. Let's see the next circle pop. It's coming up slowly here. This could be a huge one. We still have teams that are trying to get in from literally everywhere where we saw them drop.
And then you have Day1 Kia. I mean, I think they're still thinking of that previous Miramar. Everybody was just playing Edge. They're playing it super, super slow. I don't blame them.
Oh.
And this is going to work out wonders for them.
That is going to work great.
Obviously, they don't know this, but they have so much space to rotate into. I'm hoping they don't decide to do one of those rotations you were talking about earlier. And guess what? RSG against Morph. Morph should have at least an angle towards the east of RSG. But those smoke grenades are just going to be able to favor them. I think Morph is going to end up losing Rocky.
That's unfortunate. They're going to go down one player more. They're going to be just two now. So they're going to be in a salvage mission to see if they can get more out of this game. RSG is going to get healed up fully. They're going to be completely fine as well. And they're going to be moving in for that too. Vampire could potentially hear Morph rotating. I love this circle here. We are going to go on the western side. We're closing up Cinder and Hacienda, and we've had some fantastic endings around that area because it becomes very urban once we get closer to San Martin and Hacienda. The question is, do we stay on the open field side on the east, or do we go urban on the west side here and maintain some of the high ground that we have south of the San Martin too? Now, Team Falcons have had a really good performance. The home turf heroes here, and let's see if they're going to be able to continue that.
Yeah, they definitely want to be able to continue on that energy that we're able to put out earlier. So we are going to be looking at a replay here from
again.
RSG. What happened? Rocky was able to get a knock, but I mean, DD being able to just back him up, he's going to end up getting the knock. And you see, Fajar, I thought he was going to maybe get the off angle, but nope. See, it seems like it ended up backfiring for him throwing that smoke.
Oh, that's a good amount of shots coming into Yusuf, and you can hear the crowd go wild. Amazing, super well played by Team Falcons and Yusuf in this situation. They are able to close this one out. They're close to the water treatment, so they are also in a very, very good position and on the terrain. Now, 4Rivals, Labby here on the high ground. Now, Damar's going to try to finish off, get the elimination points, and secure that. And you can hear the crowd go wild, cheering for them. That is great. The first grenade elimination, Yusuf is able to close that one off. Yeah, Team Falcons able to step it up.
What a surprise, honestly. I did not expect that. I didn't really think this team was going to be doing that well, and I'm so happy that they are. As we do see Team Soul being able to get that player, Lappy, I think it was, from 4Rivals. There you go. He was trying to get that angle. Guess what? He ended up backfiring. Team Soul was able to sneak up on him. And right now, Team Soul with one Ilum. You love to see it, and I want to see what Team Soul is going to end up doing. In the previous Erangel, you saw them being able to take that center of the circle. He ended up being a little bit too much for them. And right now, when I'm actually looking at Circle, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Stalwart Esports. They're pretty much smack down the middle, and that's a team that, you know, if they end up getting pushed, if they end up getting third party, that's with the talent and the skill that those players have, they can back it up. And they might end up getting a bunch of villains.
For sure, and rotations are coming in hard on the eastern side of the map too now. Falcon does see Soul in the distance. And cheering is coming on for Falcon in the arena. All right, circles closing in. As you can see on the map here, I was talking about on the eastern side, southeast, a lot of teams are going to be fighting for the same terrain here. If they don't get a shift in this situation here, 7, it's going to be really rough for them, and they're going to have to be doing big rotations. A lot of teams are already occupying some of the best compounds in the center too. Bucks, Falcon, Stalwart, Pivo, Keat, Stars, and TJB is sitting damn pretty right now. Let's see the next pop mall. Oh my God, it's going to go north here and close out on the Hacienda area, but we have a huge ridge that is in play, and the water treatment could potentially also be crashed, and the terrain that's going to be able to be taken from that is going to be good. Now, Virtual Gaming Squad putting on pressure onto Day1 Kia. Oh, Fabian has to heal.
That one, Kia barely being able to get off that. And this is what ended up happening here with Team Falcon. I mean,
beautiful.
you can see those shots. Yusuf, you are just something else. He got the nade Ilum, and he also was able to put up those shots with the AKM. And I was going to say, you mentioned it too, that Southeast and the East is just going to be absolute managed with all those teams trying to push in. And I know that everybody in the crowd was screaming Team Falcon, Team Falcon. I was actually screaming Urban Area, Urban Area. And it ended up working out wonders for us.
All right, yeah, especially here with this situation where they're going to be moving from the southeast. The circle did go slightly northwest, so the big rotations is basically the last time we're going to see those. They're going to be trying to go up on the northern side and try to take some of that terrain that could potentially be open on the northwest. The question is, are all of them going to be able to do so, or are they going to decide to do so? Donuts coming off the win here, Donuts USG. They are one of those teams that are looking like they need a big rotation.
And with them, oh man, I'm looking at this, the rotation that Day1 Kia is currently doing. I wish they would have just stayed left, because right now they're about to run into just a wall of teams that are going to be fighting with each other. Vampire Esports sees somebody from TJB. He's not going to be able to move, but guess what? Stone, being the smart player that he is, he's just destroying all those tires where that player's not going to be able to go anywhere. And here we go.
Wildcats?
What are you going to be able to do, Wildcats? We've seen what you guys can do before. I love hearing the crowd. I miss it. Here we go. RSG. Almost being able to knock somebody there from TJB, but TJB getting the angles too and being able to finish off RSG. This is huge for TJB.
Massive game for them. Maybe they're going to be able to get the rest off as well on Zhao. Question is, how are they going to do so with Bucks staring down? They have a bit of a smoke, so the utility is going to come out, and it's going to work out for them. Oh, Bucks in the Hacienda compound. Huge compound, plenty of loot, so if they need to refresh their rest or helmets, they're going to be fine to do so. Now Wildcats, more rotations coming in. Day1 Kia too. Are they going to drive straight into them? And the drive-by is going to happen. They are. First, took some damage. Oh, Fabian's going to go down now. X-Ray, what are you able to do here for the Wildcats?
And Wildcats, I mean, they have the players behind them too. They need to be careful. They were able to get that knock, and I think that was huge. Can he get that knock? He's not. He's actually going to get third party by USG. What's happening here? Day1 Kia, though, can they secure this? We know they love those DBS. This is the perfect time for him. It does not end up working out for him. Wildcats being able to come out on top and securing some great amount of Ilums for them. Right now, for them, 7 Ilums, Avenger.
Yeah, that's a rough situation for them. Having to fight outside the blue here. They just want, both of the teams wanted the rotation now. See the minimap, it's a northern shift towards the water treatment. And that's going to be rough for the teams on the south. A lot of teams are on the south side of that big road there, 7. Let's see how they manage to get into the zone. Oh, that is Wildcats just simply in a rough situation. Yeah, and Juni, oh my God, also putting out the utility, securing that Day1 Kia. It's just mutual destruction, basically.
Yeah, the 4X from Wildcats. I think he went out a little bit too long trying to cook that grenade, and he forgot that he was playing in this zone. He ended up backfiring for him. And right now, guess what? We have another push. Enigma Galaxy. This is a team that we've currently been looking at for the past 2 matches. Are they going to be able to do anything? They're not. They're actually going to end up losing players, and they decide to back off. And with this new circle, I'm intrigued to see how back-to-back is going to be able to just get inside that circle. And on top of that, I mean, Star Wars Esports, they really haven't had to do much. We haven't seen them much, but guess what? I'm pretty sure they're going to set themselves up nicely for the final one.
Yeah, the teams that are looking good, really good right now is Falcon, it's Soul, his 4 rivals. Enigma Galaxy in a huge fight here with Vampire Esports, taking down Fluke. Let's see how many more he can get. Oh, it's going to be found. That is so unfortunate. Lord goes down, and that is Enigma Galaxy out in 16th. And now, the coming minutes here, we're going to see so many more teams falling because there's simply not enough terrain to accommodate all these teams.
Yeah, I mean, with the 18 teams that we have right now, I mean, not right now, but we start with, you're just seeing a completely different PUBG Mobile esports than what we're used to. And I'm actually loving it. I'm loving all this kind of fights that we're getting here towards the end. And going back to Enigma Galaxy, I know they ended up losing there, but I did appreciate that that player tried to get that Ilum. He was not expecting the other player to come in from that door, but hey, it happens, okay? It's Vampire Esports. You can't really be too harsh on yourself with the way Vampire Esports is playing right now.
All right, Donuts off this great game. Found some terrain inside the circle here. You can see on the minimap there inside on the northeast side. Have an idea that Virtual Gaming Squad is over there on the ridge that they have to push up on to once we see these next circles pop. Also a little bit live. You can see these players. Some are playing with 3 fingers, some are playing with 4. And most of them are playing with more than 2 for sure. See how it works out for
man.
Vivo Keat.
This
Adrian on screen.
I was going to say, I'm not sure about that spot there for Stalwart Esports. I'm hoping that they do decide to go somewhere else because Vivo Keat is just currently zeroed in on them. And you can also see back-to-back just being on the horizon behind them, too. This is going to be interesting what's happening to them because Vivo Keat is going to have to push at some point. They are outside that circle.
Yeah, the question is, do they drive past? Do they try to drive closer? Do they breach them? What's the situation with this? And now another situation with Box and Vampire Esports sharing. That's a nice shot from Stone straight into the helmet. It's going to save it. Now Uni is going to be trying to get into the circle. Let's see how deep he can go.
Ooh.
He cannot go deeper than that. That is down 1 key out and 14th with 2 eliminations.
Yeah, that rotation from that one key ended up backfiring for them. But Stone, being able to go from one team to another team, snapping on them, doesn't matter which gun he's using. And guess what? We talked about Vivo Keat having to push in, and they decided to just, they didn't decide to drive by. They decided to just fully push into Stalwart Esports. And guess what? Back-to-back is going to be able to try to third-party this here as we do see the fight ensuing. Stalwart Esports trying to back him up with some utilities. Grenades. Oh, action, please. Hit another one because that was almost on the money.
Yeah, it's almost like the director out there saying 1, 2, 3 action. Try to get some of that and put it on. That's a lot of damage being on to Cielo. And that is him out. That is Vivo Keat out in 13. 0 elims, considering that their early positioning was actually really good.
Yep.
Stalwart's able to defend it. I'm sure that they could have been worked out better if they decided to go for the full crash, right? Rather than try to get a little bit of an edge inside the circle in the middle and a little dip. It really doesn't work out that well for them. But now that also means that back-to-back, Stalwart, all these teams, they have to move across the street and try to get into some of these new compounds. All the terrain, there's a lot of open fields as well on the south side of Morph and Falcon here too.
And I was surprised there, J-Way actually decided to take a shot on this Stalwart Esports player. Why would you do that? They didn't even, I don't think they even knew you were there. Just focus on getting inside that circle. Don't focus on trying to get some cheeky kills because that's just not going to happen.
Virtual Gaming Squad. Let's see what you can do in this. Donuts are trying to get in, but Virtual Gaming Squad is putting pressure on them. One shot. Putting out a lot of shots. Donuts is trying to sneak in on the northern side here, above Falcons. And Virtual Gaming Squad, they are putting so much pressure onto Donuts right now. They want them off this high ground here. They are not inside the next circle, but they're waiting for long enough. Maybe it's because the Virtual Gaming Squad wants this new area that Donuts has decided to take. Let's see what happens with them. Naoto goes down. Lin goes down to the play zone. And Schweppes finds action from Stalwart where they have to rotate. Missile, trying to survive for as long as they can. And now Virtual Gaming Squad, they had to leave. Yep. That means that Donuts are able to survive.
Yeah, with Virtual Gaming Squad, they were waiting to see what was going to happen there with Donuts. Well, guess what? After Donuts, they are going to have Team Falcon. And Team Falcon right now is on a tear. Even though they are currently just sitting quietly, they're making sure they back up everybody. You do see Team Soul back-to-back just decides to send it. J7 being able to push it. Is he going to be able to make it? He's not able to make it. You can see a shot being able to secure that element. And that is huge because if we would have made it in there, oh, man, he would have been able to get some angles and it would have backfired absolutely for Team Soul.
And let's see what this next circle happens with. All the teams are being pushed in. 52 inside the gas station. That is another player gone down. That is very unfortunate for back-to-back. They get 1 elim and only 12th place, so not a lot of points from them for this game here. Vampire is being breached, and they are under siege by Stalwart. Meanwhile, Box is also third-partying them on the edge here. That's a good amount of pressure. 52 also in the kill feed, as you see. Now Stone, what can he do in this situation here? Fluke taking some damage. This is kind of clever by Stone here. Try to get out.
Talk about the moves there from Stone. Being able to throw in the Molotov, make sure they back him up, getting some knocks too with the Molotov, and he's able to rotate and secure those elims. Huge play out of Vampire Esports. That's the fight that we've been wanting to see. And guess what? Box Gaming realizes, hey, this might be the time. If we're going to third party, let's third party right now. Box Gaming is starting to push the action.
Yeah, perfect time for them to box everyone in this house, the longhouse here. Stalwart trying to get out. Still a knock in there. Stone cannot confirm it. He's outside. Top is on the other side. He healed up. The circle goes south, and that means a mayhem on the northern side. Falcon even has to move. Morph have to move. This is going to be an open field ending.
Yeah, with TJB currently having a little bit of cover there, it's going to be interesting. Stalwart Esports is going to be able to outlast Vampire Esports, but guess what? Box Gaming, this is going to be interesting how Action is going to be able to hold them off. I'm pretty sure he has already used a lot of utilities earlier with the fight with Vampire Esports. Box Gaming playing him slowly and finding the angles, and he does. That's Suwoo being able to eliminate their Stalwart Esports. It's okay. 7 elims. Stalwart Esports is not at another third place that we're expecting out of you, but I respect the amount of points that you guys are being able to put up in regards to elims.
All right, look at that. Donuts with the revenge onto Virtual Gaming Squad. Basically another case of mutual destruction. And Virtual Gaming Squad just taken down as well. Donuts too, this is a rough situation for them. They had to get out of the north side, but they can't. They go down. TJB in this situation, healing off. He's actually inside the zone. 52 have to move. Box is on the southern side of this circle here. They actually have a lot of control. Could be a great game for Box.
It definitely can, and I think with the way right now Team Falcon set up, it could possibly be another top 3 finish for Team Falcon. They still have all the 4 players, and they're currently positioning themselves perfectly. I just want to make sure they don't end up getting knocked from any of the third parties. You can see TJB, even though he was healing, he decided to stand up a little bit more and just keep an eye on who might end up pushing him. Team Falcon needs to be careful with that. More trying to make the push. They're going to get aggressive, but Team Falcon is just on another level, being able to secure that elim and moving upwards and forwards. That right there might have just secured them at least a top 3.
And another great performance on Miramar for Falcons. I love what I'm seeing from this squad here. Yusuf finding Pharaoh, 52, in shambles right now. Question is, do they have enough utility, enough smoke to make this next one in here? TJB also a little bit of a nuisance for them. He's down here in this little hay bale shack, and they could potentially lose one player to it.
And I think it's been so long since the TJB player has actually done something that he might end up surprising the Team Falcon players. And yes, I noticed that too. Team Falcon, they saw Box Gaming all the way on the other side, and they're taking shots. The aggressiveness of this teams, and right now 52. Oh man, it's not looking good for you. Okay, you have two teams looking at you, and yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able to survive from that. But the TJB player, the one that's currently being able to survive, he might come into play later, unless Team Falcon knows that he's there, but I'm not sure, Avenger.
The question is, how much utility do they have? That's the decider of this one here. Now we see nades coming in. It is coming, a good nade. They're never alone from Falcon Esports. Finds him. That's TJB out. Another good performance from them now, but it means we're down to Box and Team Falcons.
And this is going to benefit, if Box Gaming can get into the zone, is going to benefit him in a big way. You can see Team Falcon, though, is not slowing down. They're making the push. They didn't know that TJB player was there. They eliminated him. They were like, you know what? We need to take that spot, and we need to take it out and keep on moving forward. You can see the 52 esports player, though, being able to get the angle on both of the teams. Oh, that's going to be huge.
Vass, I counted him out, basically. I didn't think he was going to survive that, but the players are not focused in on him. They thought they're one of the other teams potentially to take him out, so Falcons slightly forgot about him. And let's see how far he can take this one for 52. 8 eliminations for them. He finds a Box player, takes him down. Can he secure second place for 52?
52 esports currently just ruining the party for Box Gaming. We thought it was just going to be a Box Gaming versus Team Falcon versus. It's not going to happen. But guess what? Break from Box Gaming. He has to give out his position, just trying to back him up. And Team Falcons right now, they're setting themselves up perfectly. Team Falcons currently looking to take this win, ladies and gentlemen. They know where that player from 52 esports is at. Can they take it? You see Yusuf leading the charge. They know exactly where he's at. Here comes the grenades.
Finds one.
Oh, Vass being able to actually back them up. Yusuf right there. Can he get the knock? You're so close to it. You're full health, and he's not. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Falcon being able to get the win for Saudi Arabia.
They're able to convert this one, step it up, and do an even better game on the second game of Miramar today. Here's 7. They got second place last time, 6 eliminations, and now they're able to take it home. Look at the crowd. They're going wild for their home turf heroes.
I'm about to go wild for them. I'm so happy this team is performing this way. We've been talking about Saudi Arabia for a long time, and guess what? Their team is currently showing up, and they don't just want to win this. They also want to make sure they qualify to that after-party event happening next week. Wow, what a win. The aggressiveness that we're just seeing out of this team, they're not slowing down. It doesn't matter who it is, they're just going for it.
Yeah, super impressive performance. Right now, the teams that are able to do well on Miramar before, they're able to step it back up. TJB again going into that. Box stepping it up and actually showing what they're capable of. Also, they were in that compound. They were in a situation where they were fighting so many teams. Circle worked out for them quite well. Bucks able to get a lot of points out of this game too here, 7.
And I think it's. I want to go back to the fight between Star Wars Esports and Vampire Esports. I feel like that's going to be happening a lot, and I'm all here for it. That's a fight that I want to see hopefully in the next match as well. Right now, honestly, for me, 2 of the best teams of this tournament so far. And can Team Falcon continue to spoil everybody's party?
Yeah, we have 1 more game to go, guys. That means that we have 1 more break and 1 more fantastic disc segment before we go to the last game of the day. So we're going to have a short break. We're going to go to the amazing disc, and they're going to break this game down further.
Well, they've been close many times, but Team Falcons have been able to take themselves a big win, and we could hear from the talent room, everyone in the audience just cheering and rooting for them, but for good reason. This team has been fantastic throughout the entirety of today. I know, James, we were talking about how, you know, Vampire is definitely one of the strongest teams and have proven to be one of the strongest teams, and it's hard to catch up to them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, Max, Falcons have been probably the most consistent team throughout today.
Yeah, the only way a team can really have, like, put some shadow down on the results of Vampire are going to be Falcons and Star Wars if they close off with a banger game, which is what we just got from Falcons. And we were talking about it a lot. We're talking about their edge gameplay. That was like the definition of a good edge gameplay in this Falcons. Like, yeah, it's textbook.
It was almost destiny. We just come off the back of talking about it on the previous death segment, and then they convert with that. As you watch them break down each circle and each circle, you can't play center in this circle. It's so open south of water treatment. You've got, obviously, it was 52, right, that had the gas station,
Yeah,
actually.
the gas station, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk about 52 in a moment and how well they play things out, but the fact that Falcons then makes this edge play constantly work, and then is pushing in against this, just, well, it makes us look okay here at the desk. It makes us look like we're earning some money well, but
you know what we're doing, yeah.
Yeah, very, very impressed by them.
I feel like that's kind of what you guys were theorizing, though. We were talking off air like yesterday about how we expect teams to play, because you can't really zone up or center up really early with 18 teams, or expect it to be a lot more difficult, or is this maybe something else you're discussing?
Depends on the circle, right? Of course, and you know, we always have to take that into full account when it comes to this, but especially in a circle like this. Yeah. And we have seen previous games here, even just throughout the day, where we've seen a lot of heavy edge play, some successful, some not so successful. Falcon has shown us the trail of breadcrumbs to success with a lot of their edge play, and it's come to fruition in the previous game, not necessarily with a win, and it now comes to fruition in the form of a win. So we see that trend continue to develop.
Yeah, Falcons make me think of like Indiana Jones, you know, when they have the skull and they have like the ants going all around. Like if they are playing edge, all the teams like, oh no, we're just going to go around. We are not fighting these guys. But looking at their player stats right now, like, it is great to see the team perform on this same level. And Never Alone in particular has been also a really big standout player in PMP Arabia. He's helped a lot of the team get the success, and here being one of the top players is not really surprising.
I mean, he might not be able to dunk basketballs, but he can dunk himself some eliminations.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he can. And I think something that I'm glad that they didn't dunk as well was ascend towards center. It can be a bit tempting in a circle like this to be like, is the circle going to shrink away from us? Do we have to send to maybe even that gas compound, or maybe to a hay bale, or maybe to kind of a blown out car somewhere or something like that? But they're not doing that. They're still kind of holding strong, holding firm, standing their ground on these edges, sweeping teams, and then taking out teams as they continue to enter the next circle and the next circle. So I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that they played here is they were staying on the eastern side. The moment Box Gaming are eliminated, they know, okay, this is in the bag. Now we can allow ourselves to be aggressive, go for the push onto Vaz. Vaz did do, really well. Respect to him. I thought, like, oh, maybe. Like, it was hard at the end of the day.
Well, you're talking about him, so why don't we actually take a look then at 52 Esports a second and take a look at their player stats. I did want to mention really quickly, by the way, the damage across all of these players. We've been talking I think for like a year about how there has been that transition of having those 1 or 2 superstars in your team to now you need everyone to be able to be a superstar at any given moment. Everyone needs to play well. You can't have those slackers or relax. And we do see Vaz, you guys mentioned 834 damage coming through.
Yeah, and that's the point you brought up, right? That entire position here in the valley is not easy to play. There's not a lot of coverage. One piece of coverage is that gas station. And not only did they go to it really early, like they know the value of that position, but they were constantly taking shots because if a team pushes, it can be hard to defend. So they're just prematurely taking shots.
Yeah, and as I was alluding to with the idea of potentially Falcons trying to do the send, which obviously they didn't, but like other teams will try and make those sends towards something that is so valuable like that gas station compound. Vaz, though, what a heroic effort from him to be able to pull a second place out of all that. He wasn't just shooting at Box, he was shooting at Falcons as well, whilst moving from terrain to keep himself covered. I mean, eventually he did go down, but securing a second place off the back of that after the circle moving away from gas station, very excellent play by Vaz.
They were in last place, weren't they, going into this match? Yeah, they were in last place with 1 point.
Alongside back-to-back, they were pretty low as well, I think.
Yeah. I mean, well, Nigma Galaxy were initially 17, and then they were able to shoot up. But I mean, for them to be last place again, 0 chicken dinners in PMPL Pakistan, and they come out with this second place finish is fantastic.
And actually, now that you mentioned that, that's actually sparked something in my brain. This was one of the teams that I was most concerned about because they won Pakistan without a chicken dinner. That's rare that you see that happen. And yes, okay, it shows a team that can be consistent about it. But there is that hurdle that you need to get over sometimes in terms of getting that chicken dinner to be able to become a great team. They didn't get the chicken dinner here. That's fair because Falcons was playing an excellent game. But if other things had gone slightly awry on the east side of the circle, that could have been 52 getting a chicken dinner here on the international stage.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Jason, right, they were last place before this game. They were really struggling so far. But this was their redemption game. And I think that confidence boost for a team that has never played internationally, that is going to be huge for not only the last game of today, but also the next 2 days to come.
Max, you talked about VGS coming in from Africa, right? And how they're looking at this as, we're not going to win. We're not going to win most likely. But they want to use this as a learning experience. I wonder if it's the same thing here for 52 Esports, because if I remember correctly, they were always consistently in like top 3. But as we said, James, right, they never got a chicken dinner. If they can replicate that same level of consistency here now on an international stage, that'd be ridiculous. But also for a team like this is also a phenomenal learning experience. And I don't know if you've had the chance to talk to them to know if that's their plan.
Unfortunately, not all I know is that, like, with the meme war happening on social media, they want to beat Stalwart. You know, that is currently the team to beat for them. But it's like any team, right? The first time you make it into an international event, like, you will want to take that learning experience, a big exponential learning curve. They could have a surprise. Like, this game could be the start of something like magnificent for the team, but it's going to time to get there regardless. So still a really good game. Hopefully their confidence is going to jump up a few notches and they can stay up there for the time being.
Okay, well, I think it is time to head over to our STC match rankings in a second here to see how many points all the teams did get. Again, Falcons able to close things out with a lot of eliminations, with obviously the chicken dinner. To be fair, we've actually seen a lot of chicken dinners today with high elims, which is like very odd considering looking back at some of the PMPLs, they typically don't go hand in hand like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think we touched upon that a little bit earlier. Because you have 2 extra squads, you have 8 extra players in the lobby every single time. If you have one strong position, that position becomes even more valuable because you can capitalize on so many more extra eliminations off the back of that spot. So Team Falcons here get himself 15 eliminations, 15 placement points, good 50-50 split that you love to see. And really, we said it, there's only 2 teams that can really catch up to Vampire today because they've been consistent so far. And if they get a good finish, they could potentially overtake the first place. It is Falcons and Stalwart. And Falcons, they're looking really dangerous right now. And the edge play, they're currently on top.
I feel so bad for giving you such a hard time, Max, coming to this event because I will say this, without denying, you were saying Team Falcons is a team to watch out for, and Team Falcons can easily surprise a lot of people out there. I was like, no way, come on. You got Reagan's coming in from China. Like, Chinese teams have always been phenomenal. And yet we're seeing them match in, match out, consistently have this performance. It makes me shut up, honestly. It's insane.
While we had them during the media days, and they were just feeling, they were super happy. They were just overjoyed to be present at this event too. And also their coach, Joyboy, is doing a great amount of work and research for the team. Like, they are feeling confident. If they don't get the win, I think they'll be like, oh, okay, it's cool. We still tried our best, but they are a team that's here to have fun. And I talked with Damar, like, they have this little, he does this little thing, like, to say, like, easy every single time he gets a win. So I'll show it once we're on camera, but they're feeling good.
I think it's also a great boon for them as well, playing in front of a home crowd effectively.
So many fans out there.
We heard those final moments as Falcons isn't even necessarily, they don't even have the win secured just yet, but you can still hear them going crazy, knowing that Falcons is approaching the win, right? And then when they get it, they're absolutely fanatical about supporting this team. So I think for Falcons, that's going to be an extreme morale boost. Not only the fact that they're playing these edge plays very well, getting conversions on their points, but also the fact that they have the home crowd with them. And that will pay dividends moving into the next days.
It is like the fifth man, right? Fifth or sixth man, I mean, depending on how you look at it.
We got a lot of subs in PUBG Mobile.
we definitely do.
Seventh, eighth man, I don't know.
Well, we are talking a lot about Team Falcons. Why don't we actually take a look into them once again here, and maybe Never Alone can hit some basketball shots this time.
Uh, 2018. Okay, nice. I think it's in Dubai Star Challenge. Won by RRQ. Oh, okay. 2022, maybe 200 million. That's close to $1 billion. Is it Livic? Okay. EWM. Like 1,200. 800? Okay, I thought it was more than 1,000. I forgot its name, but it has a McLaren skin, Lamborghini skin. I forgot its name. The coupe, yeah, jet ski or something. The motorcycle, does it count? Snowmobile, yeah. Classic match.